Yes, a very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in. All Australia or indeed the world. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is night 4 of week 3 of term 2, 432. And there's only one night of April left just to continue the countdown for you. Yep, the last bit of business for April will be taken care of over the next few hours ahead of the mad month of May in every sense of the word. First up, it is Disruptive Labs Formula V coming to you from Summit Point Raceway, one of the greats for Formula V competition. There's no doubt about that. A real sort of Lime Rock Lakeside feel about that joint. Then we go to the Red Bull Ring in Austria for what promises to be another scintillating round of the Porsche Cup. And right throughout the course of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, updates from the Melbourne Cricket Ground where Collingwood are taking on Hawthorn, and from McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle, where the first match of the Women's State of Origin Series for 2026 is being played this evening. Good evening, everybody. Zach Caban alongside Matt Schmidtke. Nice to have you along for the ride, live exclusive, loud and free. And I say loud because this is Formula V, and this promises to be an absolute belter. The circuit, 3.20 kilometres, 28 degrees the current, track temp, 18 the ambient. We're about to have that updated on us, though, so let's just hold that screen there for a moment, Schmitty, because that'll update for us as we tick into the race server any tick of the clock. There it is. Updated weather conditions coming through. 11:28 a.m. local server time, 3 kilometre an hour winds, 18 degrees the ambient, 28 on track, still cloudy conditions, dry and 0% humidity. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, well.
You've spotted it too, have you?
Yep. It's a very funny looking V at the start of this group.
That is not a promising sign, ladies and gentlemen. Who is stitching us up this week? What a G up this is.
Mr. Travis has a party.
What are you doing to us, Trav? We're going to have a rolling start at Summit Point. We don't need a rolling start for the V's. However, it does give us a little bit of time to just ease into things this evening, I guess. And it also gives us a little bit of time to, of course, catch our breath between the 3 heats this evening. But what it doesn't allow for is too much turnaround time for anyone that's trying to get across into the Porsche server to go racing at the Red Bull Ring. So, yeah, rolling start tonight. That wasn't in the script. And, yeah. It's not necessarily something we need for Formula V, but, oh well, we're going to have to make do with it this evening. The championship points coming into this round, let's go there firstly. Braden Sagassa on top after 2 round wins. 285 place, Sam Chapman 276. He's won the rounds by 1 and 8 points respectively to give him a 9-point lead. We've had 4 different winners so far this season. Chapman and Jones taking race 2 in the respective weeks. Chapman last week, Jones the week before. Sagassa has won the evening opener in both weeks so far, and Lockie Purvis has won the feature in both weeks so far. So there's a fair bit of commonality about all of that. What is interesting is the field moves away behind the safety car now. This is going to be a nice elongated lead-in for you, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to rock and roll. Is that in third place is Lockie Purvis on 261, 257 for Adam Lavis and 247 for Ryan Jones. Chris Noble, who's due a bit of luck, let's be perfectly honest. He's only had 3 top 5 finishes in this campaign so far. 2 podium finishes, sure, but not a win yet. Maybe that'll come tonight. And then Derek Fitzgerald is only 1 point behind him. Only 5 points, covers 5th and 7th in the points race at the moment. Michael Adams, 225. Ryan Tate, 218. And Thorn Weggett on 216 points make up the top 10 at this point. So this is all exciting because we're looking at the grid now for you to give you an update on the who's who in the zoo here. And we're excited to report the return of one of the stalwarts of the caper, the great man, John Merritt. Here we go. Moroney and Chapman the front row, so another pole position for Nathan Moroney. He's getting all right at this Formula V caper, I'm not going to lie. It was good to see him here last week. He was second on the grid last week. He's gone one better this week. Chris Noble, John Merritt the second row. Lockie Purvis, Braden Sagassa the third. Michael Adams, Derek Fitzgerald the fourth. Adam Lavis and Ryan Tate from 5. It's a field of 22, and I'm happy to report that all 22 are out there. 11th on the grid as we go over the page, please, Matt. The problem with the rolling start is the totem pole's already going off its ballistic proverbial, and yes, it's easy to go off the standard static sheet there. Ryan Jones, Mark Heppel from 6, Tony Baker, Jordan Pianozola from 7, Mark Register and Richard King from 8. He's due for some luck. He'll be happy to actually see some grass tonight rather than concrete after Long Beach last night. Hilton Booth and Thorn Weggett from 9, Brendan Nealon and Will Ramsden from 10, Patrick Savina and Greg Padgett will make up this field. Good evening to you, Matt Schmidtke. A little bit of an unexpected twist in the plot here with the safety car to bring us to green, which means we'll be hitting turn 1 most likely at full tilt.
Yep, I would think so. It's definitely not the best way to start these off, but we'll make it work.
Indeed we will. Schmidt's on the buttons ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, because we are expecting a photo finish or 2 tonight. Such is the nature of racing at Summit Point. They're not even going to wait for the control line. Nathan Moroney brings the field to green and Chapman goes with him. They've slotted in behind one another. Now we go racing at Summit Point. Let's go. The run down to turn 1. Chapman's got the jump. He used the slipstream to his advantage. Johnny Merritt's tucking in behind it. Here comes Chris Noble as well. They make it to the corner. Contact from Noble and Chapman, but they keep it together. And here's Chapman right around the outside to go by Nathan Moroney and take the lead on the run up to turn 2. Cleanly and still side by side for much of the field. Through the back section of the circuit. There's a part of the circuit that will trip people up. The run out of turn 2 and 3, that quick switchback with the runoff area, the gravel. Set to trip somebody up, particularly in the invert races, I would think, tonight. Invert top 10 for race 2, invert top 15 for race 3. Moroney and Chapman still side by side. And have a look at Braden Sagassa on the move early as well. Merritt under pressure from Noble. Sagassa the points leader, pushing Nathan Moroney through. They're not yet back to the main straight. They're on their way down there now. Let's go 3 wide for the first time tonight. Braden Sagassa, what a start for the championship leader. From 6th up to 2nd on the opening lap. We're going to be 5 wide maybe down the main straight. This is insanity. It's a 10-minute race, boys. What are you doing? 4 wide down the main straight. Take a photo of that, ladies and gentlemen. Moroney's got his nose in front at the moment. He's in the middle. Merritt's right alongside him. There's going to be some squeezing done here at turn 1. Sagassa got hung out to dry. Chapman goes back to the lead. Moroney into 2nd and Noble slotting into 3rd. Merritt now up on his inside. How good's this? Here comes John Merritt. 2 for the price of 1, Johnny. 2 for the price of 1. Why not? For Pulse Tuning and Lexus of Melbourne. John Merritt goes to the front. The first time we've seen it this season. Big crash at the back. Massive crash. Carnage. Tony Baker, Thorn Weggett, Mark Register, Greg Paget, Mark Heppel and Michael Adams. Register off the road. Adams out of business, already on the tow rope.
Wow, that was a big one.
That was massive. That was unexpected. Completely off the Richter. Unhinged on the opening lap here. We got through the first lap cleanly. We were never going to get through the whole thing cleanly, and that has broken and split and divided and conquered the field. Down we go. Hello, Kurt Nommensen tuning in for the first time this evening. Schmidt's got a tech issue at the back. We'll work on that. Down the main straight we go. So Chris Noble is back in 7th spot. He was the big loser in all that. Maroney still going side by side with Johnny Merritt. Lockie Purvis has got himself up in a 3rd spot. And Ryan Jones from out of the clouds. Jonesy from 11th on the grid is going to lead us at turn 1. Maroney a little bit of a bobble through there. He lost momentum. Jones and Merritt banging wheels, which is not terribly advised here in Formula V. Heppel, Adams and Baker all on pit road, all with a mechanical. Heppel's now got a black flag to add insult to injury. Rule him out of race 1. Still 3 wide at the front. There's Maroney trying to find a way through. There is no way through at the moment. You're boxed in, son. Jones into the lead on the inside of John Merritt. Oh, they're going to take it out of the vocal cords, aren't they? Have we got a commentator on standby for the Porsches? We could be in a bit of trouble. Oh, no, the Jones have come together. And also at the back, Braden Sagassa. He's winning run undone. He's not going to be winning heat 1 this time round. But he's going to be in contention for the invert. And Chris Noble's gone again as well. Noble's gone again as well. Noble cannot buy any luck this season in Disruptive Labs Formula V. Are you kidding me? What the hell? And now they're putting 2 wheels in the dirt coming onto the main straight. Look at Ryan Tate flying down the inside. Tate's come from nowhere to be second behind Sam Chapman. This is more like it for Chapo. He's liking this. John Merritt and Ryan Jones both to pit lane. Joining the growing list of contenders in trouble down there. Tony Baker's got a black flag next to his name as well. Mark Heppel had one too, so just adds insult to injury for these guys. Unbelievable drama here. We were expecting it. Summit Point always delivers a special in Formula V. We've got another 2 bites at the cherry yet, folks. Races 7, 8, and 9 of the campaign. Round 3 of 10. Chapman leads. He's been reeled in. Tate follows in close tow. Then Maroney and Purvis. 4-team race at the front of the field. Not that 2nd and 3rd have actually got a team attributed to them at the moment. Jordan Pianazzola's off the right. He was 5th. And he's going to drop all the way down to 11th. Second battle pack worth keeping an eye on as well now because Will Ramsden holds the invert pole spot right now in 10th spot. There he is at the back of the train. Probably the safest place to be at the moment. Geez, that was insanity with the rolling start there. Jordan Pianazzola now has a black flag next to his name. I can't recall a Formula V race, only 6 minutes long, in which we've had that many meatballs and that many black flags handed out. My goodness. Chapo's been swamped. We expect that. The slipstream is immense here. Purvis in the middle. Almost coming into contact wheel to wheel with Ryan Tate, who now slots into the back of the train. Maroney back to the front. So, Maroney and Ryan Tate could become the 5th different race winner of the season. Purvis could get his 3rd. Chapman could get his 2nd. That's what's at stake here at the moment. Through turn 2, then 3. That little switch back. Here comes Chapman running back to the front now on the inside of Maroney. Side by side, we've seen a lot of that so far tonight. For the most part, they've made it work. Further back in the pack, look at Derek Fitzgerald and Adam Lavis side by side. They're trying to go with Richard King, who's up 11 spots. Chapman around the inside of Maroney. Maroney hung out to dry. Purvis wants a piece of that. We'll take it. Here comes Tate as well. Oh, great work, Lockie. Purvis holds the ripple strip, holds the line, puts himself down on the inside to keep Nathan Maroney at bay. And Ryan Tate says, you know what, boys, I'll take the pair of you if I have to. Here comes Ryan Tate. Big run from Tate down the inside. couldn't quite get by Maroney. Maroney still getting the slipstream benefit from Chapman's toe at the moment, down the main straight. 5 gone at Summit Point. White flag flies. White flag flies. We're going to run short for time.
Oh no, it looks like we've got a set lap count again.
We've got a set lap count, which is no good for race 1. Sorry?
Yep, 6 of 6.
Yeah, and what about races 2 and 3, Schmitty?
I would say the same as round 1, so we should hopefully be good.
Okay, good. Well, here's an anticlimactic sort of premature conclusion for you, ladies and gentlemen. Chapo down the back for the first time. Maroney, I was caught off guard by that. I was actually going to set up the old commentator cam here in Central Commentary to do some stuff for social media. I'll do it for races 2 and 3. I'm 1 lap short here, unfortunately. But it's Chapman's race to lose at the moment. It'll all come down to the run through the back section of the circuit for Tate and Maroney. Purvis, I'm not sure. He might be too far back at this point. And he's on the wrong side of the road. He's not getting the assistance of the toe right now. Watch them go through. Final time, quarter of a lap to go. Greg Padgett off the road at the moment. We'll get back to that shortly. Watch them weaving left to right. Tate defending second. Has he sold himself short? Is he going to lose out here to Chapman? Onto the main straight we come. Here they go. Main straight, checkered flag. Chapo hugs the inside of the circuit. He won't need the photo. Chapo's going to get the job done first time out at Summit Point. 0.08 of a second. Purvis and Maroney in behind make up the top 4. 0.56 of a second covered the top 4. Look at that. Richard King with his nose in front for 5th. Oh, the better of Derek Fitzgerald to his left and Adam Lavis to his right. Patrick Savina and Will Ramsden. Those 5 I should say, were covered by 0.16 of a second. That is ridiculous. And 10th, Brendan Nealon. Good to see him back on the grid. He'll get the invert pole for Heat 2. And we go about a minute and a quarter short of the scheduled 10-minute distance, folks. Might have to have a word to Trav. We can't be having rolling starts at Summit Point. And 6 laps has sold us short on a couple of occasions now, Schmitty, but that's all right.
Yep.
Quickly around the grounds, New South Wales and Queensland taking the field in Newcastle. First women's state of origin of the season. We'll keep an eye on that. Hawthorn currently have the better of Collingwood. 1-2-8 plays 1-0-6, although stay with me. Collingwood with a snap. No, taken by Hawthorn. So it remains 1-2-8 plays 1-0-6, 12:40 to go in the first quarter. You can watch that on 7 and 7, mate. You can watch the women's origin on 9 and 9 Gem, depending upon where you're tuning in around Australia. I think it's only South Australia and Western Australia that are watching it through 9 Gem tonight, but at least it's in high def. Righto, rolling start number 2. Here we go. We have a bit of a chance to catch our breath again, which means I can actually take care of a bit of housekeeping that we never got to last night, ladies and gentlemen, with regards to some of our other divisions here. I don't need Schmitty to do anything at this particular point in time. I'm just going to rattle off some numbers and hopefully people will be able to jot them down for themselves and remember it. We didn't get on Monday night to bring you up to date with the Pro-Am point standings in GT3. So I wanted to do that first cab off the rank tonight. And I also wanted to update you with regards to Formula 3, because when we signed off Monday night, Dan Yeaman and I, Adam was still crunching those numbers. Have a look who's first in GT3 Pro-Am at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. He's a certain very loyal Lambo driver. He also happens to be sharing the booth with you this evening. His name is Matt Schmidtke. 325, it's a Whiskey Business 1-2 because his teammate Sean Bonici's there on 316. 298 for Paul Wood, 296 for Brad Coates, 257 for Dane Snadden, and 253 for Jordan Pianozola. Geez, those positional battles are tight at the moment. 9 points you to Bonici, 18 points then back to Paul Wood, who's only got 2 on Brad Coates. And then obviously it's 40 points, 39 points back to Dane Snadden, who's only got 4 on Jordan Pianozola. So a bit of seesawing going on there at the moment, no doubt, with the next round of the series coming up from Brands Hatch next week. Monday night motorsport for you, Monday the 4th of May. Now, there have been a couple of changes here. A couple of drivers have been promoted up into Pro or relegated back into AM. So that is having an impact on the results you're seeing there at the moment. Nathan Harvey's one of those. So too JD Dent. So too Joel and Hansen. They've all been elevated up into Pro at this point. Now, Formula 3, wings and slicks there. The point standings see Aidan Kale still on top. He still managed to win the round on points, tied with Braden Sagassa on 105 apiece. That comes back to pole position, obviously, and no incident points, and also possibly the fastest lap of the race as well. So we managed to tie it up with Braden Sagassa on points, despite losing the race on track. He leads 321 plays. That's 73 points back to Adam Funslow, 248. Guy Leach, 246. And Ryan Jones, 244. Brett Barker, 238. Alex Tzitzikas, 236 make up the top six. And they're the two bits of housekeeping that I wanted to bring you up to date with there, ladies and gentlemen, purely because we didn't get a chance to do it. We ran out of time Monday night. We were finished before Adam Lavis had gone through and done the numbers. The downside of him actually being out on the track on a Monday night rather than in the booth with me. But conversely, I wanted to do that last night, mentioned that I would do it last night and forgot all about it last night. Now, can we bring pictures back in from Summit Point there? Matty Schmidt, we lost the server.
My game may have crashed when I was trying to fix the audio, but we should be there very soon.
Copy. All right, so I'll just keep talking and keeping everybody amused in the meantime, shall I?
Yeah. Few more
so,
seconds.
Yes, you're right, mate. Hopefully, we shouldn't be missing the start here, folks. It is a relatively long sort of formation lap at Summit Point in terms of time for the Formula Vs. We've got pictures coming back in now, I think. So stand by and we'll bring you some pictures from Summit Point in just a moment. I think we're actually going to pick this up on the opening lap, judging by how my totem pole is going off its lid at the moment. Yes, there we go. So lap one underway, race two. And it is scheduled for 18 laps, so this will be time certain. Probably 11 laps based on the pace we saw in the earlier session. Trouble. Brendan Nealon, the pole sitter, gone. Greg Padgett on the tow rope already. So plenty of chopping and changing and slicing and dicing has already played out here. Patrick Savina leads the field from Derek Fitzgerald and Adam Lavis. Hilton Booth, Ryan Tate, John Merritt, then Nathan Maroney, Will Ramsden, then Sam Chapman. Chris Noble's up into 10th spot. Braden Sagassa and Ryan Jones. And our relative with our leaderboard is actually going to be incorrect as well because of the fact that we've picked up the race after it started, but that's okay. Savina leads. Fitzgerald to his inside. Here comes Adam Lavis. Watch Lavis with the run. On the inside on the run to one. Will Lavis have a look? He could, but he won't. Unless he's going to leave it very, very late. Ryan Jones. Oh! Jones and Chapman are coming together. And that has also cleaned up one of the 1-9 entries, Lockie Purvis. Wowee. A big moment for Jones. And Chris Noble with the mechanical meatball. Ryan Jones, Michael Adams as well. Can you believe this? We'll have to go back and have another look at that. So I'm sure it was Chapman on the inside there. Jonesy's moved across, got across. Chapman's got across to cover him off. That was Chapo, wasn't it? 100%.
Yep, the black and green, yep.
And unfortunately, Chapo hasn't seen Jonesy coming, tried to close the door. Jonesy was already there, and it set off a chain reaction. Jonesy can't buy any luck at the moment either. Patrick Savita had the fastest lap of the race on the opening lap. Oh, madness. We love Formula V. That's why. That is exactly why we love it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here for it every single week of the term. Ryan Jones and Michael Adams on pit road. Chris Noble. I think Noble's just parked up and said goodbye, see you later. Yeah, he has. He's gone. Wow. Down the main straight we go. Here comes John Merritt. John Merritt to the inside of both Derek Fitzgerald and also Adam Lavis. And Ryan Tate wants to push him along. Chabo may have a case to answer for there a little bit later on. Everything else, I think, gets deemed a racing incident after all of that. Fitzgerald has two wheels wide through turn one. That's going to help Tate and Lavis out. Lavis moves across to cover off Tate and tucks in behind John Merritt for the moment. Chapman and that next trainer car's not too far away, including Sagassa, Savina and Booth. Will Ramsden up in 9th spot. Maroney back to 10th. Purvis, Heppel, Baker and King all behind him. So a 4-pack, a 5-pack, a 4-pack. The top 13 on track at the moment, covered by 4.1 seconds. But the big story is that Chris Noble is out. So we're down to 21 for the feature, and Noble's night is done, and his championship is in tatters. He cannot catch a break this term.
Yep,
it's quite extraordinary.
Not having much luck at all.
Well, he's having luck, but it's all bad. He's not having any good luck. And if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. It is unbelievable. Lavis to the inside of Tate, no. Back to the main straight we go. Side by side, Fitzgerald wedging his way down on the inside of Lavis, but Tate got across to cover him off. In behind them is Brayton Sagassa. Chapman's there as well. Chapman down the outside. Oh, look at that from Tate. Wedging his way through the middle. 3 wide on the run to one. Tate's going to... Look at that to be able to tell you, yes, there is a front end there. It just, just isn't easily picked up from afar. Chapman, Merritt, Tate, Fitzgerald. Whoa! Merritt down the inside. Chapman's wide. Right, Tate wants to go with him. Brad, is Brad talking about the commentary no sound or just from the racetrack? Just from both? I don't know. 4 wide. Why not? Oh, last of the late breakers. Hold on. Chapman to the inside. Merritt got hung out in all of that. Tate goes around the outside. Uh-oh, lap traffic's going to play a part in the moment here as well. Apologies for some tech issues, folks. We'll work our way through that. We'll have them fixed up for the Porsches, hopefully. Through we go. Chapman around the outside. Merritt. Lap traffic saw itself out the back there. That was Greg Padgett putting himself on the dirt just to avoid what was oncoming, and I don't blame him in the slightest. Have a look at this. Top 13 covered by 2.6 seconds. That's all the way down to Will Ramsden. So all 13 of them, as far as I'm concerned, Schmitty, still very much in this race.
Yep, absolutely. This is probably the biggest pack we've had in V's for a while this late in the race. Lap 5, almost lap 6, and still 13 cars right on top of each other.
Michael Adams has just got by Greg Padgett on track as well. He's down a lap. Chris Noble out of the race. Ryan Jones staying on pit road, so it'll be interesting to see if Jonesy commits to this final heat or not. On the back of a disastrous second heat there. The fact that he is staying on pit lane makes me seem to think that he will start from the back of the grid, which will be 21st. Whoa, it's tight. It's tight, especially when Sagas is in no man's land. He had 2 wheels the wrong side of the white line. Savina checked up Maroney. Heppel goes through. And Will Ramsden's off the road now as well. So it's a battle in 12 at the front. Because Ramsden's dropped off Savina. And Tony Baker as well. And the other one caught up in all of that was Hilton Booth, but he was far less impacted by it. Top 7, separated by a coat of varnish. And then the rest of them, Maroney, Heppel and Booth, all trying to latch on. Oh, wow. Oh, more trouble over the back. Oh, no. Merritt hasn't come through. And now the timing screen's had a little bit of a wobbly. Thanks, Brad, for the update. Paget Noble, yeah, we know there's a sound issue from the track, folks. Well, we were trying to work on it, but I think we're just going to have to cut our losses on this one. We'll do our best to describe it for you. Oh, no, there goes Fitzgerald. Sagassa caught up. Merritt caught up. Heppel caught up. Oh, it's carnage at the final turn. It was looking so good there for a little while as well. It was looking so good. But now it's a race in 4 at the front. Avis pushes Chapman along. Those two find each other on a racetrack again. Maroney and Purvis are still in the mix. Merritt is still 5th. Somehow not out of this race yet. Fitzgerald, Tate, Nealon, King, and Ramsden now squabbling for the minors. Sagassa is 11th. Register and Weggett and Heppel and Pianazzola. Pianazzola holds the invert spot at the moment, and he was on pit road at the end of the opening lap. Look at the amount of mechanical meatball flags doing the rounds at the moment. Hilton Booth, Mark Heppel, Braden Sagassa, Tony Baker, all gone. Greg Paget as well. Carnage on that previous lap. I think we might have to go back and have a look at the Race 2 replay file at the end of this third race, Matt Schmidtke, and just relive some of these crashes, because we've caught parts of them, but we haven't seen exactly what set off the chain reaction. Now, Queensland lead the Women's Origin as well, 6-0, folks, but New South Wales on the attack here trying to respond. They won't do it this time round. The ball goes dead in goal, knocked on New South Wales. Back to the 20 they go for a restart. Or is it a goal line dropout? It might have been first off Queensland hands. Yeah, first off Queensland and thrown dead. So it was a 50-50 call on that one. Queensland force it dead, goal line dropout. Here comes Merritt to the inside. Purvis in the middle and Tate to the outside. Meanwhile, Lavis and Chapman have bolted and Lavis has taken the lead. We're on lap 8. We reckon we're getting 11 here, folks. And I'll take that because it'll make up for the time we lost in the first heat. Probably should have got 7 laps in that first heat, maybe 8. But that's okay. Hilton Booth, Tony Baker, Greg Paget still on pit road. They've got Ryan Jones for company down there at the moment. Jonesy won't be classified. The other 3 need to get themselves back out on the racetrack in order to be classified because they're so far not going to meet the 75% rule requirements, which in the instance of a race of 11 laps in length, I think I'm right in saying would be 8 or 9. So let's go 11 minus 25%, 8.25. So, yeah, you have to finish 9. You have to finish 9 laps. Which is okay for everyone down to Braden Sagassa, but everyone beyond him's in a bit of trouble. Now, Sagassa's got 4.7 seconds to reel into Patrick Savina. Now, that's important because he currently sits 16th. One more incident, one more tow, one more crash, and Sagassa may be able to get himself back into 15th, which puts him on invert pole for race 3. Here's Purvis now, fending off Tate and Merritt. They haven't given up on trying to catch Chapman and Lavis, but it's a second and a half. And an inch is as good as a mile in Formula V. Black flag, Tony Baker. That's going to add insult to injury to him. Hilton Booth gets back out on the racetrack. Can he still be classified in all of this? Michael Adams is the next one up the road in 17th. Sagassa is 4.7 away from Savina. Pianazzola and Heppel are arguing over the same piece of real estate at the moment as well. And we're riding on board with Nathan Moroney, having a look at Lockie Purvis. Mark Heppel, mechanical meatball. That's going to rub him out. So there's the gift. That's the gift for Braden Sagassa. And that's a big, big help from his own teammate. Heppel part of the 1-9 stable now, and Heppel's got a mechanical meatball. He's probably going to have to come to pit lane, and therefore, that's the eviction from the top 15 that Braden Sagassa needed. Someone had to sacrifice himself for him to be able to get 15th and get in the invert equation, and his own teammate has come to the party, unfortunately. So Heppel out of the top 15 if he has to go and get on to pit road and clear that meatball in the remaining couple of laps. 2 to go.
That'll be a couple races in a row almost. The Sagassa's managed to jump into the 15 due to a meatball or a black flag, isn't it?
Well, I think it was Purvis last week.
Maybe it was Purvis.
Yeah, it was his teammate Purvis last week. So But you're right. You're on the money. It's twice now that one of the would-be championship contenders has been directly assisted into the invert by way of another error or another incident on track. Chapman or Lavis? I don't know. Hedge your bets, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know which way that one's going to go. But what I do know is that third, fourth, and fifth is going to be equally as spicy to watch. So it's a good thing we've got them all in view at the moment. We've got a lap and a half to go. Welcome to Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Formula V from Summit Point. It doesn't get any better than this. Does not get any better. Down the back straight, penultimate time. Lavis is going to lead us to white. White flag will fly. You've seen Barney on hand already tonight. Chapman will be sitting there waiting for his moment. Here it comes. Down the inside. I'm not sure if he had him by the line, but maybe a couple of inches after. Meanwhile, Purvis has gone to third. He's got by Merritt and Maroney as well. Chapman to the inside. Now he gets across to cover off Lavis. Purvis and Tate. Maroney, I should say. Swamp on Merritt. Purvis and Maroney. Swamp on Merritt. Merritt goes back to fifth spot, but he's still in the invert situation firmly and still in the equation for a podium finish here because he's three wide with those three at the moment. It was Purvis to his inside, Maroney to his outside. He's cleared them, and Merritt all of a sudden is back in third, out in pursuit of Chapman and Lavis. But that ship has sailed. They are 3.5 seconds to the good at the moment, or is it 2.5? 2.5, my apologies. 15 minutes expired. Mark Heppel's got a little bit of a case to answer. He's been disqualified, I think. Or is it packet loss?
Not the
white cross in the middle.
I believe that's DQ'd. Maybe
that's
he missed
DQ.
his box. He tried to
He missed his box with clearing his mechanical meatball, so he's just been DQ'd. Well, that's unfortunate. Heppel's gone. That helps Braden Sagassa out into 14th now. Savina 15th. Heppel back into 16th. Has been taken out of it. Back to the main straight we come. Chapman and Lavis. Chapman and Lavis. Chapman. He's done it again. Chapman has done it again. 2 from 2 for Chapo at Summit Point. We were talking last night about the possibility of Braden Sagassa coming out and cleaning up tonight on the back of winning on Monday night, the double last night of the Toyotas at Long Beach. But no, Chapo's doing exactly what Sagassa would have liked to have been doing and taking the championship lead along the way. Photos all round. You're seeing that on your screen at the moment. Merritt got the better of Purvis and Maroney. Fitzgerald in for 6, held off Tate. Nealon got the better of King by a nose. Well, Ramsden in for 10th. Piazzolla register Weggett. Then Braden Sagassa 14th, going to start second on the grid. And somehow Patrick Savina, who was in the invert earlier, is 15th and on pole again. So there you go. How about that? Another last lap thriller in Disruptive Labs Formula V. 2 minutes plus a formation lap to catch our breath and go again. Unbelievable. Schmitty's going to have another crack at trying to sort out the sound issue by the looks of this. So let's go around the grounds while he does that. Queensland 6 lead, New South Wales, New Women's State of Origin. Hawthorn at quarter time, trail Collingwood. Collingwood have got on a march. 5-0-30 plays, 2-1-13. Collingwood lead at the G. A big lead at that against one of the formidable forces of the competition, the Hawthorn Hawks, on Thursday night football at quarter time. My goodness. And that's a bad mistake by Queensland. Knocked back by the fullback, trying to collect it off the... here's what happened to Hilton Booth, by the way. Oh, no, this is live. We're back live with the warm-up.
We're live, warm-up and audio.
And audio, beautiful. And Hilton Booth, obviously, on screen at the moment, just going out there to try and familiarise himself with the real estate. So to explain what happened to you there, because I was having a look at the Women's State of Origin. End of the set of 6, ball goes up. New South Wales setting it down Queensland's end. Queensland were about to start their set of 6, and then all of a sudden they the fullback, instead of catching it, knocked it back, but such was the momentum of the knockback that it bounced all the way through into the in-goal area, and that's all she wrote. There was another line dropout, and New South Wales have yet another set of 6. So the onslaught continues from the Blues at the moment. There are the results for you again, folks. The big story there, Chris Noble out of business, done for the night. Chapman held off Lavis by 0.047. Lavis, good to see him finally having some luck in Formula V. We mentioned earlier the race winners so far this season, but for Adam Lavis, that's his third second-place finish of the campaign. So, and all 3 of them are now in the second race of the season. So talk about consistency. Lavis has done that beautifully. We're about to form up on the grid to get this third one underway for you, folks. Hope you're enjoying it. Thursday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, live, exclusive and free. And we are ready to rock and roll with Formula V, and we are ready to rock and roll with, after that, the dessert to the main course, the Porsche Cup from the Red Bull Ring. 105 local server time, 3 km an hour northerly winds for you, 18 degrees the ambient, 38 now on track, blisteringly hot on circuit right now, and 45% humidity, but at least it's dry. I don't think you need to add water to make these things exciting. No. Oh dear. Thoughts on all that so far, Matt Schmidtke?
It's definitely one of the wildest V races I think we've had in a while, even compared to the other seasons. I would have liked to have seen what happened in that crash in race 1, but maybe another time we can pull up a replay, because that was one wild crash.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. So to explain to everybody at home, as soon as this goes into the next segment of the server, the next session, we can't just go back and access the file. We have to wait until the end of the third race, and then we can go back and have a look at some of all of that for you. So do stay with us, because I'd also like to have a look at how it all fell apart in race 2. Summit Point Raceway with the lesser traditionally known 1M spelling. I just noticed that on the top of the run sheet, but that's the least of our problems tonight. Now that we've got the audio up and running, we're at Summit Point Raceway, and it is a circuit that has delivered quite spectacular action so far. A little bit late away from the line was Ryan Jones, but he is back out there, which is good. And Will Ramsden's going to start from pit lane, and Chris Noble has come back to the service, so that's good. So he's going to start from 19th. Greg Padgett, however, it looks as though he's parked up and done. Mark Heppel gets another crack at it as well, after being caught up with that black flag, that disqualification earlier through missing the... See, this is the thing, right? You have maybe 3-4 laps at your disposal once you've issued a mechanical meatball to go and clear it in pit lane, and obviously Heppel's miscalculated to miss that window, and that's why they've given him the when you were looking at the graphics on the screen there, the black flag with the white cross through it, that's what happened to Heppel. Although there's also another flag that we need to keep an eye out for as well with regards to packet loss, isn't there? That they do show these days, Schmitty, if I'm recalling correctly.
Yes, you can get booted back to the pits for it. I'm not sure if SDK shows a flag specifically for that, but it might.
Okay. Copy. All right. Hedge your bets. Is this Braden Sagas's moment? Thornweggett has another chance. Can we just bring that grid back up again, Schmitty, just to remind everybody at home at the state of play? So Savina and Sagasa front row, Weggett Register second row, Pianazola and Ramsden the third row, King and Neal on the fourth, Ryan Tate and Derek Fitzgerald the fifth. Sixth row, Moroney and Purvis, seventh row, Merritt and Lavis, eighth row, Chapman and Heppel, ninth row, Adams Booth, 10th row, Baker and Padgett. But as we know, neither Ramsden or Padgett are on the grid as we speak. Ramsden in pit road and Padgett not competing here at all. So Noble and Jones from the back of the field. They hit the gas and go very quickly. Patrick Savino wants to keep Braden Sagasa at bay for as long as he can. Race 9 of the campaign underway. Disruptive laps for the V. Wow, look at that up the outside. Thornweggett saw his opportunity to go to the lead, missed it. Here comes Jordan Pianazola down the inside. Pianazola to the lead at 1. Why not? Oh, hip and shoulder gone. Savina Big one! Maroney's upside down!
Oh, Adam.
And so goes Adam Lavis.
Wow. That's a lot
Massive
of
for Adam
flips.
Lavis. Wowee. Empson joins at the back of the field and has already missed so much carnage. What the hell? Pianazzaro leads from Sagasa. Ryan Tate through to third, already up 6 spots. Richard King and Thorn Weggett back there 4th and 5th. That all started with the entry of Savina getting sideways through 1. Not the first time we've seen Formula V's rolling over tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at this on replay and go for a wild ride with Adam Lavis. Oh. I'm having instant flashbacks to Channel 9 doing the technical work with Damon Hill or one of the Williams test drivers rollover that used to be on 9's outro of Formula 1 to Billy Idol's Speed. That's what that reminded me of right there. I might have to clip that and compare it to the other and show you as a point of reference at a later point in time. 3 wide already. Have a look at this down the inside. Pianazzolo and Richard King. And also Fitzgerald in this. Tate's gone to the lead. Richard King actually wants to go down the inside and lead it from the front. So he's the white car there. Sagasa on the inside. And on his outside is Ryan Tate. Fitzgerald. Beautiful. Purvis and Maroney to pit road with the tow rope. So to Will Ramsden, Adam Lavis and Lockie Purvis. So that rubs Purvis out of contention. He's not going to be winning this one. Where's Chapman in all of this? Up in 9th already. So the chase is on for Merritt, Register and Chapman. That next gaggle of cars to latch on and join the top 6. Brilliant from Chapman to get through there on the inside. May still have a case to answer with regards to the incident with Ryan Jones earlier in the piece. Will Ramsden gets back out after 51 seconds on pit road. Savina Maroney now join him. Adam Lavis still sitting on the tow rope. Now he's released as well. So everybody's back out on the racetrack. Back out in business. They're all out of the contest. Now just a case of securing whatever championship points you can salvage. Have a look at Sagasa and Tate. Nose to tail. King's in there as well. Thorn Weggett is as best placed as he's been all season in Disruptive Loves Formula V. Pianazzolo and Fitzgerald. Johnny Merritt's closing in. Heppel and Register. Noble's not too far away. He'll bring with him Baker, Adams, Jones and Booth. Chapman already up to 8th. 3 wide if you don't mind. Twice. Down the inside to 1. Thorn Weggett. No. Tate's going to lead them out of there. Oh, hip and shoulder. So Gus is in the dirt. And dropping 4 spots.
Oh.
Oh, trouble, Heppel. No, Richard King, sorry. Richard King. I so often associate the Heppel entry with white, but now he's running a 1-9 livery, so I need to try and remember that. Oh, no. Here comes Johnny Merritt to the inside of Thorn Weggett. Now to the outside. He's following Ryan Tate through. Tate to the front. The order jumbled again. Look who's 4th, ladies and gentlemen. On track for the treble. It's Sam Chapman. Provisionally. Everything's provisional, of course. I don't know. I don't think we've got anybody in race control. I feel sorry for Paul Wood. He's had a lot of tape to go through this week, hasn't he? My goodness. The steward team here, lethal at the moment, much like the broadcast crew has been. Chapo had 2 wheels in the dirt coming onto the main straight. Pianazzolo's right ahead of him. He's going to get the tow here and a massive run. Rightio, so we're down to 6-7 contenders at the front of the field, I should say. Heppel registered just off that. There they are. And then back to Adams, Baker, Jonesy up through into 11th spot. And Chris Noble's come with him. And yet again, there are 13, 14, 15 cars in view there on screen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there goes Chris Noble again, is it? No, Ryan Tate. Ryan Tate. Similar colours, different scheme. Ryan Tate now drops right to the back of the train to 15th. Now, was there contact there? Jones on the inside of Noble. Couldn't get through. It's a one-line freight train at the moment. Let's have a look at this. Thorn Weggett to the inside. Oh, yep. There was definite contact, all right. So Weggett's dream run comes to an end as well. He drops out of all of that down to 8th spot. Merritt is sitting pretty with 1.2 seconds to his advantage at the moment. That's all someone like him needs. Sagassa's now got his work cut out for him. A, to get a race win tonight, and B, to fend off Fitzgerald, Pianazzola, and also Chapman. Chapman still out in pursuit of a treble this evening to notch up win number 4 of the campaign in 9 races. He's the first one to 3. 2 each for Purvis and Sagassa, and 1 for Ryan Jones. So far this term. Chapman to the inside of Fitzgerald. He might take Sagassa while he's at it. Yes, he will. Down the inside. Chapman's going to second at 1. Beautiful dive. Sagassa gave him as much room as humanly possible. In fact, they almost ran out of road, which I didn't think was possible in these things. And somehow Sagassa has kept Chapman at bay. Through we go. Fitzgerald up on his outside. In behind them is Jordan Pianazzola, having his best run of the night so far. Heppel up 10 spots to 6th from 16th. So not bad for somebody that got left out of the invert. Whoa, Fitzgerald close to Pianazzola. Ryan Jones back on pit road. Well, that's going to end a disastrous sort of night for Jonesy, isn't it? It was all going so well until race 2 started for Jonesy. That incident with Chapo we talked about for a little while. And then also, I'm not sure what's contributed to him being on pit road in race 3, but he's parked up and done. Jonesy is out, and he joins a growing list of retirements. Padgett, Ramsden and King as well. Here it is, turn 1. Oh, 3 wide, squeeze job. Yeah, oh no. Can we get an onboard shot? Just to see if there was someone there on his inside that may have got stuck into him, or whether he did that on his own. That's a strange one.
See, there definitely was cars on the inside, but if there was contact, I'm not sure. No, I don't. I think he might have just lost it on his own.
Yeah.
Maybe
May well have done so.
Yeah, maybe he didn't realise he was going to be 3 wide, and the car to his right has gone not as close to the apex as he expected.
He balked himself, maybe. All right, we'll have to have another look at that one later as well. Lockie Purvis in 15th at the moment, but he's got no invert coming. This is the last race of the night, so it's not been the night that the 1-9 stable would have been hoping for. So Gas has got a chance to restore some order, though. 1.3 seconds is the gap between John Merritt and this train of 4. Chapman at the forefront of that now has got by Sagassa, and Fitzgerald and Pianazzola are still poking them along. Ryan Jones taking out 3 for 3. Oh, no. Jonesy, I knew that you were caught up in the second race. We saw that on screen. We called that live. We didn't get, obviously, a good enough shot to confirm that you were taken out there in race 3. You may have seen the replay. And we'll have to go back and have a look at race 1, because I know you were caught up in it. I just can't piece it together at the moment, the puzzle. What a tough week. What a shocker. Hopefully it goes better in the Porsches for you, though, mate. Chapman. Here comes Fitzgerald to the inside. Fitzgerald wants 2 for the price of 1. Fitzgerald wants to make life difficult for Chapman and Sagassa. He gets Sagassa, but he won't get Chapman just yet. 5 laps to go. 7 of 11. Good convenience store, that, actually. Merritt under pressure, potentially, at the end of this race, because there are some drivers who can lead from the front, and there are some tracks where you can lead from the front, but Formula V, it works better to work in tandem on a circuit like Summit Point, like Sagassa and Chapman are doing. Can they reel in that 1.3 second deficit to John Merritt? What's going to put them in the slipstream advantage range? They've still got 4 laps to go at the line. Merritt's controlling this one nicely at the moment, minding his own business, not unaware of all the garbage that's unfolded behind him to this point. And Chris Noble's got back to 7th. A nice recovery from him. And back in behind, you got Tony Baker and Michael Adams and Thorne Weggett and Brendan Nealon and Hilton Booth. So a real good squabble, 7th through 12th. And Mark Register having a very lonely run in 6th right now. Back to the main straight we go.
I think these
1.27 the advantage, Schmitty.
Yeah, I think these boys have got a good shot of catching Merritt, though. They've got probably 3 more laps, and they are catching. And it'll be about 1 second where they'll get into his draft.
Exactly. It's 1.2 at the corner. Sagasa wants to lead the train for the moment. And that's the problem as well. If you do work together, it's doable. But if you get caught squabbling, right, like it's so easy to do in Formula V, that chance will fall by the wayside. Purvis, 1.87 seconds on pit road. He was the quickest of the stoppers with the fast repair he needed at the end of the opening lap. 4 retirements so far. You've heard from one of them in Ryan Jones. Chapman third, chasing Sagasa. The margin to Merritt is still 1.3, so it's no different. It's no smaller than what it was this time a lap ago. In fact, if anything, Merritt's another tenth to the good. This is working beautifully for Pulse Tuning and Lexus of Melbourne. Formerly the great people at Echuca Toyota as well. Every time I hear the town of Echuca mentioned, I think of John Merritt because of that long association he had. Now, of course, aligned with Lexus of Melbourne. Round onto the main straight. Sagasa. Margin is 1.3. Chapman pushing him along. Chapo, of course, seeing his hopes of a treble falling by the wayside here. Here we go. Chapman back down the inside. Merritt hugging the inside at the moment. Chapo trying to get a toe. 1.2 the advantage again at the corner. They're just not able to reel John Merritt in at the moment. This is against the grain of everything we've come to expect in V racing. Normally, it is so hard to do what John Merritt's doing at the moment. 1.7 now, 1.17 the margin right now, with 2.5 to go. Watch this, because if they can reel him in, we're going to have an almighty final lap here. It's 1.1. Schmitty reckons if they can get it sub a second, they'll be in the tow range.
Yep.
There'll be no fuel saving going on here from Chapo.
They did a lot better on that lap down the front straight, because the last lap they kind of reeled it in a bit and lost it in turn 1, but this time they kind of managed to maintain that 10th.5 or so.
And Merritt must just be sitting there wondering, when is the onslaught coming? He would be expecting it and anticipating it, but at the moment they're just not able to reel him in enough to make him vulnerable. 2 to go at the line. Hold your breath. Whatever the case, we're going to have a tantalising scrap for the final 2 spots on the podium, but they'd be hoping to incorporate John Merritt into the fight and make it a 5-way fight for the win. Down the main straight we go. 1.18, 1.17, 1.16 now. Merritt goes to the inside. If I was Chapo, I would have been across on the inside there as well, trying to gain whatever you can to reel Merritt in. It's now 1.07, 1.1. This and 1 more to go. Now it's 0.97, 0.96. Here they come. Here comes the train. Merritt could well be vulnerable on this final lap. Can they keep it clean? Can they reel him in? Chapo, Sagasa, both of them looking for a win. Chapo, he's 3rd of the night. Sagasa, he's 3rd of the season. And what about the performance from Pianazzola and Derek Fitzgerald, as good as we're seeing from them in this race? The fact that they are still there in some sort of contention right at the very end.
You can see how well the draft works though. They've pulled in nearly half a second this lap, and it took them 3 or 4 to get those 2 or 3 tenths previously.
Yep, and you know what? Merritt's going to be vulnerable on the main straight, because there it goes. You can see it just being sucked out of the thin air. That advantage is gone. It's next to nothing. It's 1/3 of a second. Main straight, white flag in the air. One more time around. Merritt knows they're coming. The weaving begins from left to right, then back to the right again. White flag flies at Summit Point. Here goes Chapman to the outside. He's got Sagasa and also Fitzgerald pushing him along. Look at John Pianazzola. Can you believe that? Pianazzola into Merritt. Somehow Merritt is still running. I got no idea how. And Chapman has had the seams part on him as well as Moses ever did. And he is leading and on track for the hat-trick tonight. Unbelievable! Merritt and Fitzgerald side by side, and Sagasa has somehow lost out in all of that and dropped back to 4th. Pianazola, great recovery, back in 5th at the moment, but probably resigned to that position right now. Chapman leads by 0.6 of a second. Half a lap to go.
I thought for sure there was about to be a massive crash there. How that ended up in one car doing a 360 and that was it, I will never know.
No, you and me both, mate. That was unbelievable. Here comes Sam Chapman. Would not be able to believe his luck right here and now. This is extraordinary. Sam Chapman at Summit Points, where clean sweeps are very hard to achieve. Last turn, checkered flag. Here comes John Merritt with a late lunge. I don't think he's got enough time. Chapman weaving left to right. Chapman's got the treble. Chapman clean sweeps in America. Race wins 2, 3 and 4 of the campaign for him. And he wins by 0.14 of a second over John Merritt, Derek Fitzgerald and Braden Sagasa got back to 4th. Jordan Pianazola 5th. Register held off Baker, who got the crash at the end. Oh. Massive crash at the end. Chris Noble and also, I think it was Ryan Tate. Chapman wins. Baker got the better of Booth in a photo, got the better of Adams in a photo, and Nealon from Wiggett held on for 11th. Noble and Tate crash across the line, finished 12th and 14th. Heppel in the middle in 13th. Formula V delivers again, ladies and gentlemen, and Lockie Purvis comes home in 15th. Maroney, Laver, Savina round out the finishes. What the hell? Have a look at this. What a save from John Merritt firstly and Jordan Pianazola secondly. There's the contact. Merritt maybe has a case to answer, maybe not, because it was Pianazola who was out of road, not John. And then all of a sudden, Merritt still somehow gets second. Derek Fitzgerald, the big winner in all of that, he went up to 3rd. Braden Sagasa, no luck for him tonight, 4th. And Chapo, the C's part beautifully. The C's part like Moses. And it's the Old Testament reference, ladies and gentlemen. You can tick that one off the bingo card tonight. What about that? Chapo has done the treble. And now we'll go out with a spring in his step and try and sweep the night, which, based on what we saw last week in the Porsches, is a very strong chance of doing. Amazing stuff. No photo finishes per se. We haven't had any photo finishes here, and by which I mean races of 1 or 2 hundredths or thousandths of a second. But Summit Point has delivered exceptional racing once more. Matt Schmidtke, rolling start or not, I'd come back here.
Yep, I think I'm going to say this is the best track for V racing that I've watched in a long time. Both rounds. This one definitely a bit different to last time. Last time we had all those photo finishes. Tonight we've just had some just crazy incidents. It's just been good racing every time we've come here.
Just utter madness. Like serious madness. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite as spectacular as some of the incidents we've seen tonight from the V's, and we've seen them for quite some time. Like, we've been commentating the V's here for as long as they've been on the iRacing server, and some of those crashes tonight, like there were 4 or 5 rollovers, and 3 of them were in the first race, and then we had 2 of them in the third. We need to go back and have a look at what happened in the first race on the second lap, because we got through the first lap extraordinarily cleanly, and then all hell broke loose. We've got the 219 boys here to have a chat with us, and poor old Lockie Purvis, no luck at all for him tonight, down in 15. Braden Sagasa, however, in fact, both of you really, your ability to win the opening race of the night and the feature of the night undone in some of the most chaotic racing we've ever seen, and probably some of the most chaotic we'll see or contend with this season. Braden, talk us through it from your standpoint, please. That looked like a hell of a lot of fun, but also a hell of a lot of a headache. We got you, boys?
Sorry, was that me?
Yeah, that's you. Yep.
That the significant other was having a chat.
Talk us through that.
Sorry.
Yeah, talk us through it, mate, because that looked like a hell of a lot of fun, but it also looked incredibly stressful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The nicest way I can put it is some people need to go back and just kind of have a reflection on themselves and driving standards, because, you know, I know we've raced these before and it's been a hell of a lot cleaner than that.
Yeah, absolutely. In saying that, though, unlucky that you were caught up in a couple of incidents, but how lucky were you to not get caught up in the one on the final lap, but at least salvage your 4th place?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was a hell of a lot of fun working with Sam and Jordan. I think it was Derek there as well. Glad we caught up to John there. Could have been a bit of a closer finish, but you know, I think it was it John and I can't think of his other.
Jordan Pianazola was the one that he got caught up with.
Yeah, John and Jordan, they had a bit of a tiff into turn 1. I don't know who. I think it could have been a racing incident. I haven't quite looked at it closely enough, but yeah, it was a great racing race.
Indeed it was. We're just having a look at some of the highlights here on screen now. 3 wide, common theme, common occurrence here at Summit Point. Just extraordinary stuff. I mean, obviously, not ideal in terms of the results, mate, but it is a 10-round championship, and at least you're able to get through and tick the box, and you can reset and press on and go again next week. And I guess in amongst all that chaos, it makes Chapo's clean sweep all the more impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he just kept his nose clean the whole 3 races. Was able to avoid all the drama and all the rubbish. And yeah, and if you can do that, week in and week out, which is, it'll be a hell of a task. You know, you'll be right there at the top end of the championship. But obviously, you know, like you said, it's a long championship, and you still have 2 drop rounds. So yeah, there's still plenty of drama to unfold for the rest of the season.
The Miami International Autodrome is the next stop, boys. The MIA loop, so the Formula E configuration. Second time that we're throwing a Formula E configuration at you this season. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm pretty excited. It should be really good racing around there. I think it'll be. I haven't actually raced that layout yet, but I think it'll be really close racing, and I'm really excited for it.
And I'm interested to get the thoughts on everybody with regards to that next week, because I think it'll be a little bit better in terms of the racing spectacle than what we potentially saw at the Mexico City round a couple of weeks ago. There's one of the moments in which you got caught up in the incidents. There were a couple tonight. Richard King got caught up in that. You were able to avoid him. Someone hip and shouldered you out onto the grass there at turn 1. These are only the highlights of race 3, by the way, folks. We might get Schmitty to go back and see if he can have a look at some of the more spectacular incidents from race 1 and 2 if he's able to. But in saying all of that, let me ask you this, Braden. Rolling starts in Formula V, yes or no?
No. Definitely not. I wasn't a fan.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I don't think most of the grid was expecting that. There was a lot of chatter when we were lining up behind the Porsche, and we thought it was a bit weird that someone signed up in a Porsche and then realised it was the safety car.
Yeah, we were thinking, hang on, this isn't GT4. What's going on here? Quite interesting. Unlucky for you, though, I guess, mate, in the sense that there was potential there to go out and make it a treble tonight on the back of the success earlier in the week. But you got to cop the good with the bad sometimes, don't you?
100%, and that's what racing's about. You know, it's just seeing how you rebound from it all.
Indeed. Very good to see you, mate. Very nice to have you out there in the thick of it and part of it. And by the way, how lucky were you, I guess, at the expense of your teammate, who had a mechanical black flag that he did not serve, as the mail we got, because there was a nice shiny white cross next to his name on the final lap of Heat 2. That got you into 15th, and then there was another incident that got you into 14th. At the mid-mark of the second race there, it wasn't looking promising that you were going to actually be part of that invert equation. That could have made life a lot more interesting for you trying to weave your way through the field in race 3 had you not been able to get into the invert.
Oh, 100%. It was I did see the drama unfold turn 1 in my mirrors, and I just prayed and hoped to everyone else behind they could have got through, but I think there was a lot of cars that got a lot of damage from that. I think even Lockie was one of the unfortunate victims.
Indeed, that was the case. Nice to have you here as always, mate. We've got about 10 minutes before our Porsche boys are on the grid, so we've got to step lively. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just Lockie and also Mark for coming out tonight as well. And obviously just the whole 1-9 team for bringing this whole team together. And also just a couple of my family members for continuously watching me drive pretend cars around tracks.
Yeah, I love it. Well done, mate. Nice effort tonight. I mean, just to get through it. Not necessarily unscathed, but survive to the end. Ryan Jones not so lucky. A couple of others not so lucky. You were able to get through to the end. That's all that matters. Tick the box. Chapo's probably going to take the lead in the championship, but still a long way to go. Good luck in Miami next week, but we'll see you before that with Formula 3 Monday night there as well.
Thank you very much.
His teammate Lockie Purvis. I mean, we can talk about Braden's bad luck, but also you couldn't catch a break tonight either.
Actually, yeah, I got lucky race 1 and race 2. I had damage on both races, but ended up P3 and P4. Race 3 was light, to be honest. Lap 1, T1, everyone's sending it. It was kind of diabolical, but we move on.
Well, there's the replay of the incident at the start of race 3. 2 cars on their lid, Adam Lavis and also Nathan Moroney. I think it was. So disappointing in all of that. Here's the onboard with Nathan Moroney now. This will be just an up and over sort of equation for you folks. There you go. It's a very dark room nestled in the cockpit of that Formula V car when you flipped on your lid. But anyway, 3rd and 4th, yeah, not bad. Probably would have liked to have got a little bit more out of those 2 races, I dare say. 3rd in race 1. A bit of a role reversal. You were in contention for the race win, Braden not so, and he's been the one that's won the opening race of the night, and you've won the feature of the night the last 2 weeks. So there was that narrative going on, and then all of a sudden Chapo had other ideas. He said, no, excuse me, boys, I'm coming through. Not necessarily an ideal night, mate, but again, race 3, push that out the rear view mirror. You're still very much in the championship mix by virtue of that 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm glad I could scrape together a few points this round. I knew it was going to be a little bit of carnage. So yeah, we'll just move on. We're looking forward to Miami.
Common sort of theme here too, because 3rd and 1st in the other 2 races in week 1, 6th and 1st in week 2. Race 1, race 3, 11th and 15th in race 2 in rounds 1 and 2. So 2 good, 1 bad. That seems to be just a commonality of your narrative at the moment.
I think it's commentator's curse, to be honest.
Right, I'll remember that going into next week when we get to Miami. Are you familiar with that configuration of the circuit? I know some of the guys are from last month running there in the Legend cars.
I am, yeah. I've done a few races around here, so not like me not knowing Cobra. So yeah.
I love it. So we'll be learning Coda, but we'll focus on obviously trying to achieve something out of the 2 Miami rounds. The full layout, the Grand Prix layout for the Formula 3s, and then of course the shortened Formula E layout for Formula V. So looking forward to that. Were you as surprised by the rolling start as we were?
Yeah, I think I was the first one over the bike. Yeah, pretty interesting. I didn't mind it, but yeah, I shined there where we had the standing start, so I'm sure a lot of the fast boys do, so it was not nice.
No, not at all. Now, what does the next few days look like, and is there anyone else you'd like to thank before I get to GSRC Formula V royalty, please?
No, we'll see you Monday, and thank you to the boys, 1-9 and the family.
Very nicely done, mate. We will step lively because we've got 6 minutes before our Porsche Carrera Cup stable are on the grid. Appreciate that, mate. Go and enjoy the weekend. Well done, Braden. Well done, Lockie.
Cheers, mate.
All right. I mentioned GSRC royalty, ladies and gentlemen. I was excited when I got in tonight, live timing appeared on the screen, and John Merritt's name was front and centre, because it's not like John to say no to Summit Point or Formula V. Nice to have you back, great man. Well done. Mixed bag of results as well. Chapo's just come through and cleaned up. But how lucky were you not to exit stage right into the Armco there on the start of the final lap of race 3, please?
Mr. Caven, nice to be back. Yeah, very lucky turn 1.
Yes.
I threaded the needle and, yeah, pretty lucky at the start of that last lap. I just, outside the white lines, I'm not sure what it was, but I wasn't sort of going to move and really compromise the race. As it turned out, it was unfortunate, sort of wrecked a good finish, I reckon, but yeah, Chappie picked up the pieces.
And not for the first time, because for a little while there, they weren't getting their act together, and they were letting you lead from the front. You had a nice little second and a third, second and a quarter to your advantage. That was all good and well. Pianozola was in no man's land, so I'm not sure there's necessarily a case there for you to answer after the fact. If you go and have a look at the replay from the broadcast shot, I think you'll find that Pianozola had 2 wheels in the dirt there, John. It is very hard down Summit Point to go anything more than 3 wide, but there were a couple of 4 wide moments tonight, and it was reflected by the carnage that ensued. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
With on board.
It tempts you to come down the inside there with that little bit of asphalt that's there, but it closes up on you. Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2 wheels the wrong side of the white line, so that's no man's land as far as I'm concerned. Very lucky on your part to be able to pull it up at turn 1, and then obviously come through and salvage third.
Yeah, I compromised Braden, not on purpose there. I was just trying to pull the car up and not hit anyone, to be honest.
Correct. And that's the point, mate, because normally you would have far better control of the car than that, but the momentum and everything else was doing funny things, and as soon as you were in a position where you had the car straight and you were able to get on the anchors, you did so. And again, to be able to pull it up for 1 and not run it into the grass or dirt waiting on the right-hand side of the the left-hand side of the corner, even better. Just stay with me a moment, mate. 6-0 Queensland over New South Wales as we go around the grounds in the Women's Origin, and Collingwood lead Hawthorn 45-40 at halftime at the MCG. Summit Point always delivers close racing. We love it. I was a bit worried, actually, because I thought for a moment there that it was going to go against the grain. At what point did you think, hang on, I'm in a little bit of trouble here? Because when you were 1.3, 1.2 seconds to good for a few laps there, mate, everything was going beautifully.
Mate, it was all whether they got their act together. I was hoping they had one more bobble, and I lost. I reckon I lost a tenth at turn 1 on the one before the penultimate that I sort of got past. And as soon as they got inside of a second, it's sort of game over. So I just hope they'd have one more fight, because I was sort of holding that gap at 1.234, but it wasn't to be. Wasn't to be. Must be a bit rusty.
No, nothing wrong with that, John, to be fair. I mean, no one would blame you for being a little bit rusty, considering that it's been a while since we've had you here, and it's been a while since we've run the Formula Vs, but it never gets old, does it?
Nah, it's sensational racing. I mean, I think the double invert adds plenty of elements, which I don't think was deliberate. The safety car start's probably not ideal. Takes that element out. Plus, you're carrying so much speed into a slower corner at turn 1. I think that probably adds a few incidents. But all in all, always a fun night. Always a better night in the sim than not.
Well, absolutely right. Now, on that subject, when are circumstances going to allow you to make that a bit more of a regular occurrence, please?
Oh, mate, I've done a couple of major events, but unfortunately, business commitments have kept me out in the last couple of months. So hopefully we'll free up a little bit and do a bit of V's. The boys sort of said, V's are back on the menu. So they, they excited me back into it tonight, and I managed to get home in time, which was nice.
Braden's comments are fair. The fact that it probably wasn't the cleanest racing we've ever had in Formula V, but you're familiar enough with the Cape now to know that you get good nights and bad nights. That's just one of the pitfalls of everything being so tight-knit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nature of the bees. I mean, there was some quick names that I probably haven't come across, which was good. I think Nathan, and Mark, some new names, which was good to have. You know, I think you look at that, it's a good top 15 plus drivers. So, mate, it's a competitive field, which is just going to add to the spectacle week in, week out. Some tracks serve right, and sometimes the night goes wrong. I think, you know, one incident can take out, you know, a quarter of the field, and the spectacle's not so good, I suppose. I'm sure you still get excited.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a couple of moments there tonight where we didn't have the sound from the circuit. We just had a couple of tech issues, and Schmitty sorted them out for race 3. So I'm reliably informed that my sound well and truly compensated for the absence of ambient from the circuit. However, let me run these track names off, and you can tell me what entices you to come and have a steer. We got the MIA loop of the Miami International Autodrome next week. Then the Nürburgring short, so it's the shortened version of the Grand Prix layout, or the Grand Prix circuit, I should say. Which so there's that cut through that wipes out the chicane, the Schumacher S chicane, and the hairpin, and also I think it's turn 5 and 6 when you get out of the arena section. So you get that. Then the Tsukuba circuit, which we haven't been to for heaven knows how long.
Awesome little track, yep.
Brands Hatch, the Grand Prix layout for Brands in the V's, Barber Motorsport Park, Willow Springs, and Shell V Power Motorsport Park. For mine, those last 3 are must-do.
Yeah, Motorsport Park's all right in a low-power thing. I'm not a great fan, but I think in V's and Fords it's awesome. Anything with the word Nürburgring in it will hopefully bring the crowd. I don't think I've done the MIR, the Miami short.
No, not many people have.
So, mate, I think you put these little things anywhere. They're good fun. Drafting, if they've got a sufficient little straight to keep the field bunched, they're good fun. Then it's a bit of racecraft.
Indeed. Work obviously keeping you busy, mate. When's the next major?
I think, we did the 6 hour on the weekend with the former legend, Mr. Gadderick, which was good. And I think the 12 hours, so before that, but nothing more else than that, to be honest, Zach, this year. So I think some enduros are attractive. You know, we can do a bit of build up, but not too much, and it's a one-day investment on a weekend, which saves me and the push to get home and run.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. We've got the Porsche qualifying session wrapping up, so we'll leave it there. Great to catch up with you. Anyone you want to thank?
Oh, just the Pulse crew, mate. They always make it a fun night. So all the Pulse boys, and hopefully we can get Cito Riddell back in and
Yes.
have a full complement.
Hopefully so. Good to catch up with you as always, mate. Hopefully we'll be doing that on a more regular basis on a Thursday night for the balance of the campaign. Go well.
You too, mate. Always a pleasure. Cheers.
And there he is, John Merritt, one of the stalwarts in these parts, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It is season 25 for the GSRC. We take you now to the dessert on a Thursday night. The dessert to your main course, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Schmidtke staying with me. No Andrew Neil tonight. He's away on assignment, probably enjoying himself in the process. And we are now getting ready for the third round of the Porsche Cup Series. This is a 40-minute head out from the Red Bull Ring in Austria. 4.3 kilometres this circuit. Cars lining up on the grid. The points equation coming into this round sees Sam Chapman on top by virtue of that win last week in the feature at Long Beach. He's on 190 place. Luke Alavoine 188, Paul Rogers 178, Ben Snell 169, and Craig Bond 168. Jaden Draper 157 and Willie Blair 156. Jason Wilkinson 155, Cooper Friend 154, and John Akers 151 make up the top 10. It's nice and tight at the top of the moment. You just saw the circuit. We know it. We love it. It's home to the Austrian Formula One Grand Prix and MotoGP. It is Very open and free flowing and very, very fast. 4.3 kilometres, 4 o'clock local server time, 14 kilometre an hour winds in a east to southeasterly, let's go south to southeasterly direction. It's closer to the 180 marker. 21 degrees the ambient, 31 on track, and dry conditions. Jordan Malcolm for Riot Sim Racing, back on deck and back on pole. Ben Snell alongside him, the perennial bridesmaid at the moment in term 2 action on the platforms of the GSRC. Sam Chapman, last week's race 2 winner with Cam Caldwell on the second row, Luke King, Alex Barrell on third row, Luke Alavoine, the second place runner of the championship at the moment, and Craig Bond alongside him on row 4. Then Jaden Draper and Willie Blair. Luke Brooker shares row 6 with Jason Wilkinson, John Akers and Bryce Young from 7. Richard King, Dave Oliver, Mark Heppel and Cooper Friend. Oliver and Friend yet to join the grid. Also Sam Chapman. A couple of these guys leaving it late to get to the grid. We wait for the start. It's about 10 seconds away. Chapman into position now. But still no Oliver, still no Friend, and if that's the case, we're down to 16 for this vitally important 4th race of 16 in the GSRC Porsche Cup for Term 2 of 2026. Night 4 action in week 3 of Term 2. Let's go! Formula V was the main course. We give you dessert now, ladies and gentlemen. Live, exclusive and free from the Red Bull Ring. Great start up the line from Jordan Malcolm to lead to the first corner. Chapman's out in no man's land, trying to get by Benny Snell, but he tucks back in and covers off Cam Caldwell in the process. Now the weaving begins. Plenty of overtaking opportunities at this circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Executing them one thing, consolidating them another. Here is Sam Chapman down the inside. No, not yet able to get by Ben Snell. Watch him use fuel saving to his advantage yet again. He was able to do that so beautifully last week. Jordan Malcolm's crafty in that caper as well. And for the first time this season in the Porsche Cup, Matt Schmicke's alongside me in central commentary. Here is Culverwell and Barrelon. Right on board with Alex down the inside. He's got Culverwell to the outside. He's got the run, but he hasn't got the line. He's on the wrong side of the road when they get up here to the left-hander. Chapman holds on to third at the moment. Through we go. Women's State of Origin 6 all now, New South Wales and Queensland, by the way. So New South Wales have responded, took them until the second half to do so. 1:15 on the clock. This is a 40-minute race, ladies and gentlemen. 40 minutes flag to flag. There will be a compulsory pit stop. So we're back to longer form racing after the 3 rapid-fire sprints from Summit Point in Formula V. And as I said, bugger all turnaround time with the warm-up laps taking another 7 or 8 minutes out of that turnover. Down the main straight we come. Have a look at this. Barrelon's up on the inside of Culverwell. And in behind them, Jaden Draper gets by Luke King. So the Northwind entries running 5th and 7th at the moment. King and Bond in behind in 8th and 9th. And Willie Blair rounds out the top 10. The field covered by 8.1 seconds at the moment. Chapo with a slowdown to clear.
He just went wide at turn 1 there.
Geez, that's costly, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly, especially with the pack so bunched up at the start of the race here.
That'll cruel him for the moment, but hopefully not permanently. Malcolm, Snell, Culverwell, Barrelon, Chapman, Alavoine, Draper, King, and Bond up into 8th spot now. Plenty going on this Thursday night. Have a look in behind that. So Bondi is 8th. That's Luke King and Willie Blair arguing over the same piece of real estate. Blair around the outside. This is good stuff. Malcolm, Snell, Culverwell, Barrelon, Chapman, Alavoine, Draper, Bond, Blair, Luke King, then John Akers, Luke Brooker, Richard King, Jason Wilkinson and Bryce Young. Mark Heppel and Dave Oliver did join the grid late in the piece. Cooper Friend did not, so we're down to 17 already. So again, the fields are small, but the racing's tight. The racing's competitive. It's engaging. It's entertaining.
Yeah,
Speaking of entertaining, Women's State of Origin football is entertaining, but Queensland are doing very well with the underdog status. They love the underdog status. 20.5 minutes to go and still 6-all. Go for it, Schmitty.
I was just going to say, I hope it's some good racing. It's the first time I've actually sat down and watched a race with the 992.2, seeing as I was on the grid with them last season, and it being the first time we'd run them because they were the new car.
How are you enjoying driving the pogo stick when given the chance?
I quite like it. Maybe a little bit too much because me and some of the boys, including Luke, who we've got on the camera here, are taking it to the Nürburgring on Saturday and Sunday, so we'll see how we go.
Very nice. Good luck to everybody actually contesting the Nürburgring 24 over the weekend. The next in the year full of official major events on the iRacing calendar. We actually go to the Nürburgring next week for our 60-minute enduro in the Porsche Cup campaign. Andrew and Neil back with me for that one, so looking forward to it. Then off to Donington Park for sprint racing, then to the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps, then to Circuit Park Zandvoort, the Adelaide Street Circuit, then to St Petersburg and Sandown to round out the campaign.
Well, if Saturday and Sunday go well, you might see me on the grid next week because I'll actually know the track, unlike round one when I was trying to learn Mexico.
That one didn't necessarily go all that well for you, trying to learn the circuit, did it?
No, certainly did not.
No. We tried not to put the mocker on you, but... The interesting thing in all of that, though, is... yeah, you guys are signing up for a lot of torture over the course of the next week with that Nürburg, because that is the world's most notorious racetrack, very difficult to master. Just surviving is the skill required there, as we saw last term in our torrentially wet weather race at the venue, the one that went 10 minutes overtime. In fact, that was extraordinary.
I would prefer to forget that race ever happened, coming from my results from that race.
Thought you might say that. But yes, hopefully you've been given a dry forecast for that race next Thursday night. I think everybody would be pleading for some sort of mercy in the weather front after what we saw last time out there. Bondi has the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 30.336. Everybody in the 1 minute 30s at the moment, in the top 9 at least. And even Luke Brooker and Richard King just outside are also in the 1 minute 30s. Thursday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube and gone. Luke Alevoine, second in the championship, pointing backwards at the final corner. Oh no. First mistake he's made all season. 6th and 3rd last week at Long Beach. A phenomenal win the week before in Mexico City. Unlucky for Luke Alevoine. Had a characteristic of that final corner and a characteristic of the car, really.
I have a question. Jordan Malcolm, he hasn't been a right driver for a long time, has he? I can't.
It is a new deal, yeah.
It is a new, okay,
I'm just trying to remember how recent, yeah. But no, he's been part of the right stable for a little while now, though. But yes, no, not an original, correct. So, good point, good pickup, and good to see him back out there as well. Doing a nice job. Running clean at the moment. Malcolm Snell, Ren Culverwell, Barrelon, Sam Chapman, Jaden Draper, Craig Bond, Luke King, Willie Blair, then John Akers, Luke Brooker, Richard King, Jason Wilkinson, Bryce Young, and rounding out the top 15 is Mark Heppel. So Heppel having another crack at it after it went the proverbial up in Formula V for him earlier in the piece. Down the main straight we go. We're right on board with Chapman, having a look at Alexander Barrelon. He's 3.1 seconds off Jordan Malcolm at the moment. He's got Ben Snell for company. They have a 2-second gap back to Cam Culverwell, who is nearly a second up on this battle. And Barrelon holding his own nicely over Chapo at the moment.
I was just wondering if Chapo was saving fuel, and it does sound like it. We'll have a listen up here. Yep, there you go, off the throttle very, very early.
That's not unlike Chapo at all. Chapo doing Chapo things. It's a good skill set to have. And even better if you could execute it to perfection like Chapo so often does, and in a way in which you can remain A, consistent, and B, fast. Some guys sacrifice track time in order, lap time in order to do the fuel saving, but The skill set is there for those, and the reward is there for those that have the skill set required to remain on pace with the front end of the field. And he's certainly doing that. 1 minute 30.102 last time round is, 1 minute 30.102 is his fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 30.157 last time round. The leaders, well, we've had a 29.8 already from Benny Snell, but that was not counted by iRacing, so there was obviously an off-track there somewhere. 1 minute 30.035 for Jordan Malcolm. So there's not much in it. Not much at all. Down the main straight we go. 1 minute 29.98 now for Jordan Malcolm. 129.942 for Ben Snell. There we go. There are some nice laps. Oh, that was a moment for Barrelon. Off the ripple strip. Hard right. Here comes Chapman up the outside. Chapman looking for fourth. Chapman going to fourth and going door to door with Alex Barrelon on Northwind Motorsport. Chapman to the outside. Needs to get the run off turn 3. Oh, look at that. Door rubbing at its very best at high speed at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Chapo still has his nose in front, but the job's not yet done. He may well have to hang tough around the outside down at the bottom of the hill here again as well, and force Barrelon to sit on the outside of the circuit when they get up to the left-hander. Can Chapo stay there and get across? Yes, he can. Can he get down the inside? You betcha he can. Barrelon goes deep. Tries to go around the outside. Contact and gone. Barrelon's out of it. And Chapo may have a case to answer. Oh, boy. But that right there illustrates exactly what I talk about when we come to this circuit, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at it on board with Chapo. Oh, there's 3 pumps there. There's 3. It's an SMS. 3. Tap, tap, tap. And all on the left-hand side of Barrelon's machine. But my query is, did Barrelon give racing room? That's the only query I've got with that one, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he might have been right, but let's have another look here, if we can get a good angle. This is not a great angle. I'm not sure if Sam was far enough up, but it's hard to tell from here. We'll let race control decide that one.
Good luck. James Denton is in race control for the open split at the moment. I'm not sure who's in for the elite. I don't think we've got race control in the elite split tonight somehow. So more post-week 3 work for our stewarding team to address and attend to. Unlucky. So again, put an asterisk next to all of this. It's all provisional at the moment. My goodness. So all that's done is seen Barrelon drop down to 9th place. Chapo retains 4th. He's lost his toe now. He's 1.5 seconds away from Culverwell. He's 2.8 away from Jordan Malcolm and Ben Snell. Main straight. Look at Snelly. Smelling victory at the moment is Ben Snell. He's got a good whiff, a good sniff of it at the moment, but he needs to beat Jordan Malcolm at the long game here. Openly admitted last week to not being able to match the pace of someone like Sam Chapman. Tonight he's got track position over Chapo. So now it's about what he can do strategically speaking to outsmart Malcolm, because he's right there. He can reach out and touch it almost. But that incident with Barrelon and Chapman, like, not ideal that it happened, but it allows me to suggest to the audience at home that it illustrates the point I make about racing here, Schmitty, and you know, you've raced here before. Because of its right-left nature, because of its fast-flowing, open throttle nature, as you see there, that's trademark of racing here, trying to get down on the inside, but then take the hairpin, for instance. The car on the outside always gets the better momentum off the hairpin corner. If you're hugging the inside, the car bogs down on you. So immediately you've got to reset and try and get it done down the back straight. But then if the car can hang tough around the outside and get far enough up the inside for the left-hander, which we've obviously already been through, then the guy on the outside at the previous corner who's on the inside is all of a sudden back in the box seat. It is such a tricky racetrack in which to either A, master, or B, execute overtaking opportunities that you can actually make stick.
Yes, it certainly is. Like, it's not the most complicated layout when you look at it from a track map perspective, but actually being able to maintain the distance of the car ahead and get into a position to be able to make a pass is actually quite difficult if you don't quite get the previous corner right.
Looking at this battle, this is John Akers in 11th at the moment. Don't forget, we'll get the open split results to you as soon as we're done, folks. We'll bring the updates to you. I'm not sure we'll necessarily be able to get the updated championship points out, because if Adam Lavis has an early morning alarm, he'll be going straight to bed. So again, it'll be a situation of the next time we're on air, we'll bring those to you. In the meantime, there's John Akers, the previous term's Open champion. Hence why he's running 0-1 this term. Trying to get his way into the top 10. Luke Brooker is only a second up the road on him at the moment. There's Brooker, bottom of shot. Dave Oliver still sitting 17th and last at the moment. There's just been a stoppage in play in the Women's State of Origin, with the player being taken off the field in the Medico. 6-all still the score, 11:43 to go. Women's State of Origin, New South Wales, Queensland. And as far as the AFL's concerned, third term underway, and has been underway for 5.5 minutes, and now finally a scoring shot for Hawthorn. Or was it an out of bounds? He's kicked it out on the full. So 5.5 minutes played in the third term, and no change from the half-time score. 7-3, 45 plays, 5-10-40 for Hawthorn. So Collingwood with their nose in front at the moment. Now, Cam Culverwell under pressure from Sam Chapman. Chapo gets another crack at this. It didn't work for him against Alex Barrelon, and he concedes defeat already on Cam Culverwell, who did a beautiful job of defending on the inside. And that's the other thing. I think Chapo's got to attack that corner with a degree of caution and trepidation now, because it didn't work first time round, and he knows race control is probably going to have a look at that one after the fact. So he knows he's got to keep his wits about him here and watch his P's and Q's. 16.5 minutes gone. We're in the fuel window, ladies and gentlemen. You can pit now and get home, but no one entertaining that idea until now. And surprise, surprise, it's Chapo. Chapo goes in to pit lane. He's the first one to zig, to pull the trigger, to go the short stint first, the long stint home. Everybody else entertaining the idea of running long. We're on lap 12. Lap time's around that 1:30 marker. Oh, excellent, boys. Thank you. That makes it easy for us. I love it when they make it easy, Schmitty. So 1:30 and 2 is 3 minutes. 3 13s get you to 39. And 1 on top of that. So 13 times 2 is 26. We're probably looking at 27 laps tonight. So 2 laps every 3 minutes. There are 13 threes in 49, 39 and 1 left over. So therefore 13 times 2 is 26 and 1 gives you 27. Cam Culverwell under pressure here. Jaden Draper to the outside. Culverwell trying to fend off on the inside. Draper's going to have to hang tough around the outside and keep his boot into it for the run down to the next left-hander, where Culverwell's still got the preferred line, but no! Draper makes it work. Blast pass around the outside and consolidates. He now sits third on corrected order. Beautifully done from the Northwind Motorsport entry. Digital Durries Motorsport sits second. I'm not sure legally if I'm allowed to say that on an Australian broadcasting platform. But yes, that's the team name that Benny Snell's running. And Riot Sim Racing sitting there in the lead spot at the moment. Digital Durries, what a time to be alive, eh? Draper under pressure. Culverwell now under pressure from Bondi. Bondi's closed in. Bondi's 5th. Luke King 6th. Willie Blair, Alex Barrelon, then Luke Brooker, John Akers, Richard King. How good's this? Malcolm, Snell, Draper, and Caldwell and Bond. That margin is still only half a second at the front of the field as well. This is fantastic. Really tight scrap between first and second. Malcolm's got a little bit more wriggle room than he had the last time we checked in, but Snelly is ensuring that he's close enough to send the message to Jordan Malcolm that if he so much as sneezes, he'll be in trouble. And that's the point. He can't rest on his laurels yet. One cough, one splutter, one error, and this game changes hands. But it's delicately poised at the halfway mark, Schmitty.
Yeah, certainly is. It'll be interesting to see where Chapo pops out with his early stop, if he gains some positions or if he kind of drops in where he started.
And in comes Craig Bond and Luke King on that note. So we're going to get a bit more of an indication now as to where Chapo sits in this race. Chapo, he stopped with 6.52 seconds. Field goal attempt from Queensland, unsuccessful. New South Wales 6, Queensland 6, 8 minutes to go. And the shanked field goal attempt, because with 8 minutes to go, we're in that territory now where if you can get a 1 point advantage, it might be as good as the ball game. Otherwise, they might be playing extra time golden point. Jordan Malcolm leads from Ben Snell. Chapo has come out ahead of both Bond and King. And by a good chunk too. About 4 seconds ahead of Bond and King. So Kingy's keeping Bondi honest at the moment. They are 14th, 16th and 17th on track at the moment. Dave Oliver is the one wedged in the middle there. But on corrected order, he's still 17th. Be interesting to get his thoughts on the pogo stick if he stops by for a chat post-race. Been a busy boy the last couple of weeks over on the other side of the Tasman, across the ditch. He's back in business now, back on the platform for the GSRC. Now, I'll keep you posted on the women's origin as well. New South Wales now having a look. Their shot at field goal, that's looking much better. 7-6 New South Wales lead at the Women's State of Origin opener at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Here's Jason Wilkinson in 11th now. So Northwind Motorsport well represented in this field. 3rd for Jaden Draper, 6th for Alex Barrel on what might have been, and 11th for Jason Wilkinson. In comes Dave Oliver now, so that cleanses the bottom half of the field. Luke Alavoine recovering from that spin, still sitting 13th. And we're back now with the top 13 yet to stop. So some varying strategies here, Schmitty. I don't mind it because at the end of the day, we're in that window. So it's now with no safety cars likely, unlike last night. It's now very much at driver discretion as to when they decide to peel right and transit down pit lane.
Yep, it certainly is. Someone might be trying to run long because you can get pretty close to the end of this race if you fuel save well. I think this track is actually pretty conducive to saving a bit of fuel as well, so it'll be interesting to see how long someone can drag it out. But Chapo obviously decided to go early, so we'll have to compare how those strategies work out.
In comes Willie Blair now as part of that strategic move. So Malcolm, Snell, Draper and Caldwell. I think if you're Ben Snell, you've got to follow Jordan Malcolm to pit lane. Yeah. John Akers sits there in 8th spot at the moment. He's come in. Willie Blair as well. So 2 pit stops again this time through. So 11, 13, 14 and 15 now are the laps in which we've seen pit stops play out. And I'm glad that it's not just a case of everyone diving in on the same lap, because that would make things a little bit more mundane and processional than what they already are. At least there's a little bit of variance to this. Gives us something to talk about with 16 and a half minutes to go. Great run from Cam Caldwell tonight as well. Batted in the Toyota 86s last night. but holding his own quite nicely here, 4th at the moment on track. Probably somewhere around that 5th place marker on corrected order once you take Chapo into consideration. Chapo is 4.8 seconds clear of anybody else that's already stopped. So Chapo's clearly the best of those that have stopped so far. Malcolm and Snell, when do they peel off? Not this time through. Malcolm goes across the line, 0.6 the advantage. Malcolm over Snell. The sweet sound of Porsches tearing around the Styrian Hills. Cam Culverwell keeps Jaden Draper honest. Bryce Young's having a solid run. That's a new name to me on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. He's sitting there chasing Luke Brooker at the moment. We'll pick up those two shortly, I'm sure. Bryce Young and Luke Brooker. We had Malcolm and Snell on screen there. There they are. Brooker's wide, but that works well for him when they get round the left-hander if he can keep the speed up and cover off the attack of Bryce Young. Have a look at Young. Around the outside. Brooker with a little bit of hip and shoulder says, stay where you are, young man. And Brooker holds sway for the moment. Unbelievable. In comes Jaden Draper, so he's gone a little bit earlier than what Cam Culverwell has opted to do. Extraordinary. Across the start-finish line we go. Another lap completed. We're on lap 18 now. As we say, we project that we're going to go 27 laps here. And we're in the 27th minute, so still 14 minutes to go. 13 after this one is completed, of course. And we suspect another 9 laps. Pit lane transit, not a minute long. And stationary time, well under 10 seconds for most cars. Jaden Draper, the exception, 10.7. Oh. That's an unusually abnormally long stop for him. Whoa, Chapman gets a second crack at a Northwind Motorsport entry. This time it's Jason Wilkinson. Big lap that for pit lane transit activity.
Yep, we're slowly getting through them. Chapman still remains the lead car that has pit.
Alex Barrowon. Something's happened there. Has he had a packet loss? Yep. Alex Barrowon has disappeared.
Yep, he is no longer present.
That adds insult to injury, doesn't it?
Yep.
That incident with Chapo now, just one nail on the coffin, and now technology has failed him as well. Just to add insult to injury and rub salt into the wound, and Barrowon's night is done. Richard King also parked up and done. So 2 retirements. Richard King parked up at the end of lap 17. And New South Wales are going to win the first State of Origin at McDonald Jones Stadium. 7-6 at the moment, but they've got a penalty 10 metres out with 70 seconds on the clock. So New South Wales have won in Newcastle. Well done. 1-0. Next match, of course, up here at Suncorp Stadium in a fortnight's time. I would go normally, but I'll be here, obviously, bound by Formula V obligations on that night and wouldn't have it any other way, quite frankly. Down the back straight we go. So we pick up the battle now between Jason Wilkinson and Luke Brooker. So it's the battle of those that haven't yet stopped. Brooker to the inside. Wilkinson has now found his way by. 5 cars plus Mark Heppel. So that's 6 cars yet to stop. Malcolm, Snell, Culverwell, Wilkinson, Brooker and Heppel. Margin is 7 seconds between first and third, and then it's 16 odd seconds back to these guys. So Malcolm's around the final corner, continuing on to a 19th lap. That's going to get into the half-hour marker. So well and truly in pit stop territory at this point. Well and truly at this point where, as New South Wales actually are going to go in and score and add insult to injury to Queensland. 11 points to 6 with a kick to come at full time on the last play of the game. So New South Wales win the first women's origin, but not without a hell of a fight from Queensland. So let's cover off a couple of things here. It's important to note. Jordan Malcolm's only half a second clear of Benny Snell, but we're teetering on the brink of fuel tank capacity being expired. So they've almost burnt the tank dry to this point of the race. If you've started with a full tank, you're almost done. It's any moment now that they have to come to pit lane, otherwise they're going to run out of juice. So keep an eye on Jordan Malcolm at the end of lap 20 with only what we think will be 7 to go by the line. Benny Snell there in second. Brilliant run from him to be within 0.8 of a second of Jordan Malcolm at the start of the pit stop sequence here. Or at the end in this case, because far more cars have already stopped than not. Cam Culverwell is 7 and 8 seconds back on these two. In comes Ben Snell, so he zigs, and Jordan Malcolm zags and goes on to lap 21. Culverwell picks up a slowdown for running it off the road, and now he's on pit road as well. So he'll have to serve that slowdown. I think he already did on the way in. So he's good. Jason Wilkinson is now under pressure from Sam Chapman. Luke Brooker's in behind. Mark Heppel's there as well. Heppel, Brooker and Wilkinson yet to stop. And Wilkinson going on for a 21st lap as well. Chapman now down the outside. He's had another sitting behind Wilkinson. He wants to go by. He will go by. Chapman goes to position number 3. Not the first time tonight he's been caught up in some sort of drama with a Northwind Motorsport entry. Maybe not the last either. Oh. The conversion attempt misses, so it's a 5-point ball game. New South Wales 11, Queensland 6. Game done in Newcastle. And Collingwood trail Hawthorn now. 9-11-65 to 10-3. 63, and there's 6.5 minutes left in the third quarter at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. So we'll stay across the AFL as the night continues, and stay with us for the post-race show once we're done here with this race as well, folks. Post-race show, open split results, and so much more coming your way. At this stage, I'm not expecting a broadcast tomorrow night either, which means that we'll have a look at the schedule for next week and go from there on the way out. So this is warming up nicely. Jordan Malcolm's got 22.3 seconds on Ben Snell. That's the margin we're watching now. And Snelly's only 3 seconds clear of Chapo. So Snelly's been able to get one back. One back on Chapo.
So Jordan's gone around again. He's just going through turn 2 up to turn 3.
So that's going to be like 22. This is an extraordinarily long run. Much longer than we probably anticipated. And still running here is Willie Blair. So Wilkinson, Heppel, and also Malcolm have gone to lap 22 of the stint. They're going... oh, no.
Wow, that
big
was
crash.
close.
Cam Culverwell. Cam Culverwell has had a monster shunt on the run out of turn 1. And we'll limp away from the scene of the crime. Have a look at this. We've got to get the Cooper Friends message in the chat thread there in just a moment as well. Oh, he got the yellow curb. And it always,
watch the next 2
punishes
cars.
you. Oh. One went left and one went right, and they both said, oh, thank Christ. I dare say Alex Barrelon will be locking the dog outside tonight and on each Thursday night in future, based on that report we've just received from Cooper Friend.
Malcolm in the pits.
The Jordan Malcolm now comes to pit lane. Can you believe it? The dog's knocked out the internet cable.
That's
that's what you get for having an inside pet. I'm sorry. I like pets and children. You don't have them anywhere near technology. It's just a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh,
So for future reference, yeah, put the dog outside when you want to go Porsche racing. Can you believe that?
Malcolm's out
Alex
with a
Barrel on unlucky.
healthy lead.
2.3 seconds, in fact. Well picked up, Matt Schmidtke. So the field is cleansed. Out comes Wilkinson, out comes Heppel. Craig Bond is up in 4th spot, 4 positions gained, 4 also for Willie Blair. Jason Wilkinson, Bryce Young with 3. And Cam Culverwell has got back out in 9th place ahead of Jason Wilkinson, despite the damage sustained in that incident. So extraordinary that he hasn't had to go and pit again. And we are 4 laps away from home next time by the line. 4 to go. Just keep an eye on that. But as I say, if we get back to the line anywhere north of 4.5 minutes, and we should do substantially, we should have 5 minutes on the clock, which is 4 laps. Yeah, there they are. 20 seconds to the 5-minute warning. And they are going to actually get back to the line well and truly by the 35-minute mark here. Into the last corner comes Jordan Malcolm. Main straight across the line. There's your lap now. And there's 35 minutes now. So it's 4 laps. It's 27. Oh, the calculations work again. I love it when that's the case, Schmitty. It's just beautiful when it lines up like that. You can't ask for more.
Yeah.
Means we'll probably do a minute of overtime as well.
Might need to hire my crew chief, because the amount of times we're all in Discord trying to work out, is it going to be this many laps or that many laps whilst we're driving? You always seem to get it right. We don't get it right half the time.
And people question my methodology. And all I do is sit here and do mental arithmetic. I'm not scribbling numbers down or trying to, work it out with pen and paper or with phone or whatever else. I'm literally just looking at the numbers on the screen, both the timing screen and thinking out loud, which is why you hear me do the maths on air, ladies and gentlemen. So 27 the number and 3 to go at the line. Margin 2.3. Jordan Malcolm to Ben Snell, who's got 1.2 on Sam Chapman. So that's a battle to watch with a view to what happens next. Can Chapman get one up on Snelly 2 weeks in a row, or is Benny going to be the perennial bridesmaid of the week? He's had a run of it being second this week, Benny Snell, and last week, and on track to do so again tonight. Second in the Toyotas last night, second last week in the Porsches in race 2. But great to have him back nonetheless on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And on track for back-to-back podiums in this series. Bodes well for the championship aspirations. The points equation is going to get a bit of a cage rattle tonight with Luke Ellevoine dropping down with that early spin. Not much in the way of incidents here. Like Cam Culverwell, Sam Chapman, Alex Barrelon. They're about the only 3 that I've seen that are worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's been a pretty clean race all around, apart from those couple of incidents. So pretty good.
Didn't see what happened to Richard King, but he was happy to park it in pit lane at the end of lap 17. Maybe got tripped up on the entry to pit lane and decided not to continue on if he had a penalty. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Slide.
Oh, there's the slide. Yeah. And because that's on the approach to pit lane, that's just going to throw him out of it.
Yep.
There's his mistake right there.
Yep, and doing
right there.
He should have gone back on the track. He'll definitely get an unsafe pit entry for that one.
And again, we talk about the inconsistency circuit to circuit. There's other circuits where you can get away with that. The Red Bull Ring is not one of them, so that explains Kingy's demise, unfortunately. It's been that sort of week for Richard. Trying to buy some luck, and he's got none. So parked up and done, and that's unfortunate. And all because of the spin as he was commencing the turn into pit lane. Like, oh dear. Again, if you didn't have bad luck, you'd have no luck at all. How unlucky can you be in that instance? Everything else going right for you, but if you bugger the entry up, it buggers the whole thing up. Luke King has a black flag next to his name. Is that that has to be incident points? That has to be incident points.
I would think so.
we're 2 laps from home. That has to be incident points, and that's going to take him out of 6th. So this has implications right throughout the field as well. Oh, and Benny Snell's been caught by Chapo.
Yes, yes.
White flag flies next time by the line. Let's have a look, Willie Blair. And this was an incident between him and Luke King.
I was just wondering if maybe Luke went a bit wide when he went past and got... Let's see if Luke went off the track, but he doesn't seem to. So, yeah, I'm not registering many incidents for Luke, so he must have just been picking up those off tracks.
So that's going to take him out of it, because he's going to have to, if he doesn't serve the penalty this time through, they are going to hurl him over the coals with a 35-second invoice at the line the next time through. White flag flies for Jordan Malcolm, who is 2.6 seconds to the good. White flag flies at the Red Bull Ring. Can Chapo find a way by Snelly on the final lap? He's within striking distance. The margin is... Oh, he's done it. He's done it around the outside. Chapo goes by Snelly. What about that? A far superior run off turn 1, and Chapo goes to second, right with the finish line in view. Still has that case to answer for with Alex Barrelon. Now Snelly's wide again.
Chapo is just 15 seconds ahead of Craig Bond, and I would say that's about where, if he does get a penalty for that, that's where it would lie. So if I was him, I'd be trying to stay 15 seconds ahead of Bondy, just so if I would get slapped with 15 seconds, I would only lose the 1 position.
That's it. Well, if we can get a better angle of it and have another look at it, we will in the post-race. We might even get his thoughts on it. Oh, no. Just to add insult to injury, Luke King's come back out on the track and run it off the road and now towed. So he went and served his penalty and got another penalty. He had another black flag come up right with the finish line in view, and he's parked up and said, you know what, I've had enough. So I'm not sure what went wrong with the rejoin, because he picked up yet another black flag and he's just pulled up. So we probably need to have a look at the run into pit lane from him in the first place. Meanwhile, Jordan Malcolm, Riot Sim Racing, victorious at the Red Bull Ring. Checkered flag flies. Chapo holds off Snelly. Jordan Malcolm wins his first start of the campaign in the GSRC Porsche Cup for Term 2 of 2026, and Malcolm dominates for Riot Sim Racing, who have been a formidable force in our Porsche Cup caper here for the last couple of terms. Across Facebook and YouTube, Malcolm wins the 4th race, the 3rd round of 10 in the campaign that is 16 races long. Malcolm dominates at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Chapo in for 2nd. Benny Snell gets a 3rd. They are provisional, of course. We need to have a look at that incident, Chapo, and also Alex Barrelon. Barrelon's been undone by Pet. Luke King undone by incident points, and then a 2nd black flag. And we need to have a look at his run into pit lane on that penultimate lap to see if that might have been the cause of the 2nd black flag. And then, and here it is now for you, and Richard King undone by an unsafe entry into pit lane and the penalty that came with that. They're the retirements tonight. Craig Bond in for 4th. That's an almighty run from Bondy. Yes, he is 16 seconds behind Chapo. So that covers Chapo off if he does get a 15-second invoice. Willie Blair in for 5th. Jaden Draper 6th. Luke Otherboy, Cam Culverwell, Jason Wilkinson and Bryce Young made up the top 10. Then John Akers, Luke Brooker. Yep, there it is. There it is right there.
Yep, that's an unsafe entry.
And if we can take the onboard of that, we'll explain why to everybody at home. Chapo's here already. He's brought Benny Snell and Craig Bond in with him. I'm going to drag in the race winner, Jordan Malcolm, as well. I'll get to you blokes in a moment. We need to chat to Chapo about his summit point heroics as well. But there it is right there. If we can freeze it there, there it is. Right there. It is one of those circuits, ladies and gentlemen, like the Nürburgring. If you don't have all 4 wheels between those 2 lines, and he had all 4 of them on the outside, so that's the moment there. So he's gone in to serve the drive-through for the incident point limit. He's been slugged with an unsafe pit entry, which is another either drive-through or 35 seconds. So he's just thought, you know what, I'll park it, I'll surrender, I'll consolidate 15th, and I'll cut my losses. So it is one of those circuits like the Nürburgring where if you don't line it up beautifully, evenly, right there through that pit entry point, you get slugged. You cannot use the runoff area, the AstroTurf, the extra road to your advantage on pit entry. There are, and see, this is the thing. It is so inconsistent, server to server, or circuit to circuit, rather, more to the point. Circuit to circuit, it is so inconsistent. There's no real, and Bondi found this out at Fuji the other night. Every circuit does it differently. Some you can get away with it, but the Red Bull, the Nürburgring, and Fuji Speedway are among the strictest in the business with regards to where the lines are. That's your limit as far as pit entry is concerned. So that explains Kingy's demise there. Well, I don't really know where to bloody well start with all of this. Bondi, why did you throw in the towel so early last night? Did you have beauty sleep calling or something?
Yeah, I walked out to the lounge room to hear that you made that comment, Zach.
Oh.
No, I wanted to get some sleep. I'm a tired boy.
All right, fair enough. And I know you got school tomorrow, so let me quickly bounce through this with you. Well done last night in the supercars, albeit, caught out by strategy, if nothing else, with the safety car. Normally, if you were listening to us in comms, Bondi, you would have cottoned on. You would have caught the memo that we were saying pit now or forever hold your peace. But nevertheless, you got through Long Beach relatively unscathed. Not bad. Well done. And another solid run from you in the Porsches. Not a podium, but the next best thing.
Yeah, thank you, Zach. Last night, I didn't think I was going to make them fuel, so that's why I stayed out, and now I've got to pay the price for that. But still enjoyed last night. It was good. Car was amazing, and yeah, hopefully we don't make that mistake ever again. But yeah, tonight, pretty good. Had a right pace, didn't maximise car and quality, but got into the race and I knew my race pace is where I'm my strongest, but wasn't without a few quirks here at the end where I had one safety point buffer left until there was going to be a nice drive-through or whatever for me, and only just made it on fuel. So yeah, but made it really fun for the night. So yeah.
Now, here's the other thing as well. Great pace, another consistent result, and we look at your results for the season so far, 2nd, 13th and 9th. So, okay, last week not ideal, but bouncing back beautifully. The single longer form races are more to your liking so far this term, aren't they?
No, it's just, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I prefer the sprint races, but I think it's just strategy. I'm somehow able to stuff it up in a sprint race, and when it comes to something like this, I can actually drive alright. But yeah, it was pretty good. I'm just enjoying the time in this car. I'm actually really liking it so far, so hopefully we can continue this on. I think I found it tonight, I've got to miss one round. So Monday, Wednesdays, they're scrapped, but Thursday and Friday I'll have one drop round that I'm going to have to take. So hopefully Long Beach and that week I don't race will be that, and hopefully I can keep doing this performance week in, week out.
Indeed. Now, let's have a chat about a couple of other things. Nürburgring 24 officials over the weekend. I know a few of our club members are lining up for that, but it's also importantly the next stop on the Porsche Tour, mate. We're just hoping it's dry compared to last time we went there. What are your thoughts on the Nords for 60 minutes next Thursday night?
Well, I'd probably actually enjoy it if I had a team that would actually do that stuff with me. So I'm back to having no team for that stuff. So I'm actually absolutely losing my crap. So now I've got nothing to do all weekend, and I don't get to do that race. So huge disappointment. But yeah, hopefully I can have a bit of fun next Thursday in that car and show what I actually got. But it should be a good combo to just keep the car in one piece, out of the walls, out of anything else there is at the North Shire, and just make it home at the end. So see what we can do.
Indeed. So what else is on Bondi's racing itinerary between now and then, please?
Tomorrow night, Monday night, Wednesday night, and race, and I'd love to try and find a team to do 24 with this weekend, but highly doubt it with the time frame I've got left. So, I will.
Fair enough. Good to catch up nevertheless, mate. Well done again. And I'll let you go because I know you got sleep to be had, and we've got a few guys here to chat to. We've got an open split to review as well. We've got Paul Wilson and also Kurt Normanson standing by to do that. We've got Snelly, Malcolm and Chapo here as well. Chapo we've got to do 2 for the price of 1 with again because of the triple treat at Summit Point. Well done, great pace. Hopefully it bodes well for the remaining 7 rounds, and we will catch up when you're next in the server on the platforms of the GSRC, mate. Go well.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Have a good night.
Tom Wiggett just highlighting that it wasn't a Thursday to remember him. It was going so well until it wasn't in Formula V as well for Thorn. Let's throw it around the room now. Jordan Malcolm, I want to go to you to say welcome back firstly, and B, nice to see you just pick up exactly where you and Riot Sim Racing usually leave off, and that is on top.
Yeah, thank you. It's not normally on top in the Porsche Cup. I'm a bit of a GT4 merchant myself, so with Hayden and Benny out of the fold, I'm just happy to take the mantle up for them.
Point, isn't it? Like, obviously, we know that life's getting busier. Benny's still not the biggest fan of the new pogo stick. We know that there's obviously obligations and commitments elsewhere that they're attending to with their racing, so it is a bit of a different look field this season. But at the same time, mate, it's great to see you on the grid. No GT4, so I guess you've got to do something to keep yourself match fit. Porsches are a nice little fit. And at the end of the day, you've got to be in it to win it. And you ticked all those boxes tonight, and that was a faultless run from lights out to checkered flag, pole race win. Benny Snell kept you on us for much of the way, but you pipped everybody on strategy. You came out with a good little buffer to play with right to the very end.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened, that strategy, because apart from there was a couple laps where I tried to do some fuel save in the middle, and Benny was pretty wise to it as I was trying to let him go. Apart from those 2 laps, I was full throttle the whole way. So max push, maybe it was how I'm driving the car. I've had to change it a bit from GT4 to the peak up since I've qualified for the Pro Series, so having a lot more seat time in this car now, and maybe just slowly changing the driving habit and using a little less fuel just naturally got me that strategy done.
All right, very nicely done. What are the work commitments and obligations looking like for the rest of the season? Are we going to be able to make this a regular gig?
I'll try and make it a regular gig. As I said, I just need seat time in this car, so it's a bit different to the little Porsche Cayman GT4 that I'm used to driving. But next weekend I will not be touching the Nordschleife, so you won't see me there. I'll be doing many laps around the Grand Prix layout instead. And then I think it's Spa I saw on the calendar where I'm in Tasmania for supercars. So apart from those 2 rounds, I'll try and be there every other week.
Well, of course, Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit the next round for the Porsche Pro Invitational as well. And you mentioned Spa, of course, that is week 6. So I think, if memory serves, I'm broadcasting for us from Cessnock that week. So it'll be a Thursday night, an allowed one for the neighbours when I'm in Cessnock, and then Circuit Park Zandvoort wraps us up for the month of May. Can you believe April's already over and done with? Like, where the bloody hell's this year gone, Jordan?
I have no idea, but as an Essendon fan, I'd want to put April 25 well behind me.
And as well as May, June, July, August and September, I would have thought as well.
Yeah, well, know how Essendon goes. September's always free, so yeah, we may as well fast forward to that.
Mate, as a Melbourne Storm supporter at the moment, I'm right there with you. Fair income. All the best to Craig Bellamy too, by the way, because we've read this evening that he's got a bit of a health setback going on at the moment, and not really surprising. I mean, after 20-odd years in one of the more stressful jobs in sport, his health was bound to give him a little bit of a shake and rattle eventually. But yes, we hope for a good positive outcome there for bellyache, and hopefully the Storm will bounce back at some point later in the year as well. Speaking of bouncing back, without GT4s, obviously you mentioned the importance of getting some seat time in this. So how much time do you have at your disposal to try and do some testing and practice out of race trim, Jordan?
Now a lot more. I'm making an effort to hop into just peak up officials now, just see where my laps are compared to everyone else. Just as I said, it's just seat time, just getting laps and laps and laps, and didn't quite happen with round 2 of Pro Series, being a couple of weeks in New Zealand, but from now on we should be pretty good to just run laps. So yeah, hopefully the price picks up a little bit better than what it has, and definitely consistency is something I need to figure out in this thing.
Indeed, and of course, if nothing else, you got an opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone in New Zealand, be a weather chaser, and also, of course, do some actual work.
Yeah, that's right. That cyclone was a bit of nothing over in New Zealand, but
A bit like the one we had up here in Queensland last year, is what you're saying, is it?
Yeah, no, it was a bit interesting that Saturday, where everyone's phone kind of went off simultaneously with you're in a dangerous area, and then the next day come around and it was pretty much just heavy rain all day, and then it just got very windy, but nothing. I didn't really feel like I was in danger or anything, so yeah, it was a bit nothing in the end, but better to do the safe thing.
Well, that's exactly right. We went into panic mode here last year, and we got in inland parts. We got a trickle. We got just a constant trickle of drizzle for the day, in which everyone else was getting butted by coastal sea tide and all that sort of stuff. But again, nothing compared to some of the big cyclones we've seen up north. So interesting to get your take on all of that. No to the Nords. What about Donington Park in a couple of weeks' time? Can we tempt you there?
Yeah, I'll just use it for seat time. I don't have to learn 120 something corners. I think it's less than 20. So I'm sure I'll figure it out in the week that officials are there, and you'll see me pop up.
All right, we're looking forward to that as well. Is it just the Porsche you're focusing on in the sim at the moment, or is there something? Is there another project on the side outside of obviously juggling that with work commitments and everything else?
No, at the moment it's mostly the Porsche. Yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment. So just Porsche, and more Porsche.
All right, very nicely done. Good to catch up with you, mate. Well done tonight. Faultless performance. Did well to withstand the pressure of Benny Stell, who is racking up all the silver and bronze medals at the moment. He may get a silver tonight, but that depends very much on what the stewards make of the incident between Alex Barrelon and Sam Chapman, and I'm going to get Chapo's take on that very shortly. But well done to you. Brilliant performance. Enjoyed seeing you back out there, mate, and look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Do you want to thank anyone else, by the way?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Benny for the cracking race. Always putting... he's always a speedy guy, so good to see when he comes out. And then all the boys at Riot Sim Racing. Yeah, everyone. You guys for putting on the broadcast, and everyone for watching. Thank you.
An absolute pleasure as always, mate. Thank you for that. Well done. And we will look forward to catching up with you at a later point in time. Thanks for that, Jordan.
Thank you.
Just repeating the earlier score, New South Wales 11 have defeated Queensland 6 in the first Women's State of Origin contest of 2026. And meanwhile, a cracker at the MCG, Collingwood and Hawthorn, 2 points the margin there at the moment in favour of Collingwood. And we're into the fourth quarter. Everybody there at the MCG on the edge of their seat at the moment, and rightly so. Huge crowd in on a Thursday night. Benny Snell, I'm coming to you. Good evening again. You're getting used to this perennial bridesmaid caper?
Look, to be honest, if you told me before we started tonight that I'd be third and 3 seconds off a couple of pro guys, I would be absolutely stoked. But then, of course, after actually having a pretty good run and then standing on the last lap and letting Chapo through, it was a little bit disheartening. But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I'm starting to get to grips with the car. It's starting to feel a little natural. I just when Jordan was saying, oh, like, I don't know how Ben didn't save fuel. I was foot flat the whole time trying to keep up. Like, it was it was a lot of hard work keeping up with Jordan. He's got some awesome pace. And then I tried to go for the undercut, and that didn't work. But yeah, I'm stoked to be on the podium at least with this caliber of driver.
Indeed, and this is the thing as well, mate. I mean, you're stuck right there with Jordan for the bulk of the stint. I mean, we saw it, you know, eke out maybe a tenth or two here and there later in the piece. I mean, aside from maybe a little bit of racecraft and fuel strategicness on Jordan's part, where else do you think he might have had the upper hand?
I just started, I don't know if like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, my setup wasn't any good. I'm just not the default setup. So I don't know if it felt like I didn't have the turn that he had. I was pushing the fronts a lot more. I felt like the fronts, especially towards the end of the races, I was trying to push harder and harder to keep up. But yeah, it was perfect. He didn't make any mistakes. I started getting a little bit wider here and there, dropping tyres here and there, and a couple of mistakes. That's why I thought I'll jump into the pits, kind of have a little reset of the brain, and go again with some clear track in front of me, and that was even worse. As soon as I lost the reference that Jordan had for me, I was just in the middle of nowhere.
Indeed. That being said, mate, pleasing, because as you say, just running basic setups and still learning the car and doing a few other things, not running as a pro competitor in the Invitational Series, but everything's going right, mate. It says a lot about just the way you go about your business, the way you operate, and your ability to adapt and be versatile.
Yeah, that's it. I've always been one of those people that can get to that 90-95% really quick, and then it's just that last 5%, which is where all the pace is compared to the super fast guys, is where I need to put a lot more time in, and yeah, just don't have the time to go and do 100 laps of practice. So I take what I get, and it's nice to jump in and be reasonably competitive and be up at the front end of the field.
Just letting everybody know, I'm going to go to Chapo next, because normally I'll leave him until last, and then I'll get to Paul Wilson and Kurt Nommensen. I don't want Chapo to think that he's got to be last, and certainly not least every week. So I'll go to him.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you might appreciate that as a change of pace. But there's a defining reason why we're coming to you as well. I want Schmitty to roll some tape and get your take on that incident with Alex Barrelon. But before I do, finishing with Benny Snell. Jordan's not here next week. He's already said bugger the Nürburgring. What about you? Are you tempted to go and try and tame the green hell?
I actually do enjoy Nords. I do a lot of Ringmeister during the week if it's a car combo that I like. I tried one of the officials yesterday and died pretty quickly. I went, oh, I'm going to need a lot more practice in this car. So I might try and jump in some more officials over the weekend if I've got some spare time, and give it a crack. But yeah, I'll definitely be here next week for Nords.
I mean, I can imagine the amount of time you need to just learn a regular circuit, mate, but let alone a monstrosity like that, which is, 8.25 minutes long, let alone however many corners, as Jordan referenced earlier, and 25 bloody kilometres. How much time have you got on your hands to try and actually master the beast over the course of the next 7 days?
It depends. The weekends are usually pretty busy, so I'll just see if I can sneak in some races after work before the missus gets home. That's usually my primed sim time, is around 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock at night, so try and get a couple in for that. Yeah, really just I've got a lot of knowledge of Nords, which is good. I just got to figure out how to get the car around the track, so I think I'm probably at a better position than most in terms of track knowledge.
I'm happy to report as well, our good mate Adam Lavis is already crunching the numbers with regards to giving us a points update live tonight for the Porsches. And if we talk long enough, he may even get to the Formula Vs before, actually he's already done them. So we'll get those updates your way very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. We'll let him finish the Porsche points, and then we'll bring them to you before we go off air tonight. Snelly, you mentioned the weekends are usually busy, so when do we next see you, please? Is it Monday night or is it Wednesday night?
It'll definitely be Wednesday. Monday nights is Trash TV night with Chloe, so we've got a show that comes out every Monday. We watch that, so the sim is out of bounds on a Monday night, so yeah, it'll definitely be Wednesday for the 8.6s again.
trash TV. I like that. Anything that falls into that category, it's just nice to have something that's mind-numbing just to switch off to, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great. I used to be before I got with Chloe. It was like every night I'm just on the sim, either drifting or racing. I didn't really watch TV, but it's just funny when you get a missus. It's like the priorities change. It's like, no, I'll just sit on the couch tonight. It's a nice easy life.
Exactly. You mentioned Monday night. Actually, you just reminded me. Have you been paying attention back on Monday night? And I'll be enjoying the guilty pleasure of some TV after the broadcast too, boys. Going back and watching tonight's episode of Home and Away. So I'm right there with you. It's always good to have something to sit on the couch and enjoy, just to have some chill time, misses or not. It's a very good dinner companion, that television. I'm just going to put it out there. Snelly, very nicely done, mate. Look forward to seeing what you bring to the table when we get to the Nürburgring. I'm still trying to work out if I can legally say Digital Durry's MS on air because of tobacco and the thoughts on that as far as the media landscape is concerned. But it's digital, so I think we're okay. Is there anyone else you'd like to thank before I let you go?
Oh, I should give a quick shout out to Greg for the lovely email just saying, hey Ben, if you're going to spend so much time with the broadcast, could you not have tobacco advertising on your car? And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, fair call. I'll sort that out. So it was, I'll have to spend some time with the paint booth and do some custom liveries that are related but not actually the digital durries.
Oh, I love it. Fantastic. See, and that's the thing, like, Greg, I didn't get that correspondence from Greg either, so interesting. That's only taken 24 hours. Jeez, he was gone to that in a flash, wasn't he? Well done. Very nicely played tonight, mate. Another podium in this series. You're racking them up. You're a contender for the championship. Go well, and we'll see you at the Nürburgring.
Thanks, Zach.
On to the Nordschleife we go. Chapo, well done on Summit Point, but there's a couple of things, right? So there's an incident with Brian Jones that has got an asterisk next to it in race 2 because we didn't have live race control. So poor old race control. They're going to go through the tape over the course of the weekend, and they're going to wish that they had someone in race control throughout the course of this week, because it's just been a crash fest, right? We had Long Beach last night, crashes everywhere. We've had Summit Point, crashes everywhere, including, I've never seen so many Formula V rollovers in the category's existence. Then we've had your incident with Alexander Barrelon tonight. But I must say, in all of that, despite the controversy that potentially stems from both of those incidents I've just mentioned, to be first across the post 3 times at Summit Point, including with a little bit of assistance in the last race where the seas parted nicely for her at the start of the final lap, and then be on pace here and grab second across the line in the Porsche Cup race. You're having a purple patch sort of run at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, that's a really good night. Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess we can start with the V's and I guess that because yeah, Ryan did send me a message going, yeah, nice ball. I was like, yeah, I'll have to have a look at the tape. And I sort of had a bit of a quick look, but to be honest, I think it was just a classic sort of overspeed situation. I had a bit of that Colapinto and Behrman to it, of just like that big overspeed and that sort of like last minute jink. But yeah, technically I think I was ahead, so I don't think there's anything in it, but it is unfortunate.
At least Jones's impact wasn't 170G though, so that's good. Continue on.
Well, that's true. I'm not sure how tough the monocoque are on the Formula V, but yeah, nevertheless, it was they're probably a little safer. Yeah, I mean, those V races, it was just avoidance. It was avoidance work. I mean, I took to the grass, I don't know how many times, seeing people spin ahead of me. And it was just going, well, you know, I'm going to have to lose a couple of spots here, but it's better to be alive. So, and I think there's probably a few people that, probably a bit close and not looking at what was ahead as much. So that's really what benefited me there. And obviously in that final race, Braden Sackesser and I worked really well together. And, you know, he pushed me up there. The sort of jump back and forward, you know, wasn't working quite as well as what we'd expected. But yeah, that got us in tow there. Yeah, that and opened up for me from there, which was great. The triple, which I haven't had in a long time. So yeah, very good. But yeah, also faces Braden. I mean, he's been bloody brilliant this season as well. So he's been a great competitor across a few series. So it's been good to see him get up there. Yeah, and then I guess, Porsche Cup. I made it off my own back early on, just trying to, take as far a wider line on turn 1 as possible, and, tyres are too cold and you ended up a bit further back, which was unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, that incident really started a few laps earlier when he decided to, touch my rear end on the entry to a corner for no reason and then take the position still by pushing me off the road. So I was feeling a little less charitable than I usually would be in these sort of situations. But yeah, I mean, my view was I maintained overlap, and I was technically the leading car because of the overtake going into that corner. So yeah, I personally don't think there's anything in it, but yeah, also, you play with fire, you could get burned.
Well, that's fair. Fighting words from Chapo on a Thursday night. And again, we'll have a look at the tape with regards to the Jones incident a little bit later on. That was one of the more savage ones of the night. Jordan Pianazzola was the one that locked wheels with John Merritt there as well at the end of the V race, which allowed you to go through and take the lead. And also, Chapo, we can bring this to you, the lead of the championship as well, and comfortably. 433 place, 397 for Braden Sagassa and 381 for Lockie Purvis. 157 for Chapo tonight. So the only thing he missed out on was pole position there, really. That, of course, went to Nathan Moroney, and we had 3 race wins there provisionally. Again, we highlight that because of what Chapo was just detailing with regards to Ryan Jones. At 157, only 112 points for Sagassa tonight, 131 for Derek Fitzgerald, second for the round, and John Merritt. Oh, how about that? Back in business with 125 points for the round and third on points. So, all of that is good. The triple treat so far with Chapo. First time someone's done that this season. I would have thought the hardest track in order to achieve it, but there you go. Magnificent stuff. The interesting thing in all of that, to put a full stop on Formula V, mate, let me get your thoughts on next week. You've already had some experience at the MIA loop of the Miami International Autodrome in the Legend cars. Will it play a little bit better for you in Formula V?
Oh, it depends if I do some laps.
True.
Yeah, it's just, as long as I know which direction it goes, it should be okay. It's, the benefit of Summit Point for me is that I could manage the risk by knowing that I could dive off at any given point in time if there was an issue ahead. You don't get that at the MIA loop, you get a wall. So, yeah, it's not going to be super simple. It's that final turn. I'm not sure if it will be, but it could be a second gear, which creates a bit of intrigue too. But yeah, I mean, it'll be good racing. We just have to work out which direction it all goes. I mean, it's always good racing in the V's. So yeah, hopefully we can keep up, that momentum after this week, which was a much better round. I mean, the previous rounds weren't too bad, but usually you have a more difficult race thrown in where you just get caught up in something that you can't avoid. So and was able to avoid that tonight just by sitting back at the right moments when things looked a little bit willing. So yep, fingers crossed we can keep going with it and keep pushing towards that elusive Formula V title.
Now let me ask you this. I want to go back to last night's entree, the Toyota 86s. Did you cock up the pit stop in the second race?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Now I've got a bit of a rant on this, right? So,
Go for it.
I get the compulsory pit stop. Okay, we don't want people fuel saving to the end, blah blah blah. But at least make it fuel limited. Like, I mean, I had about 20 litres of fuel still. So like, yeah, that bothered me a little bit. It was actually it's exactly that caught me out the first round of Porsches as well. As I was going into the stop going, well, I can't get an advantage from anything else because because they've muted me with these rubbish rules, and then I've overshot the box trying to, you know, make it as clean a stop as possible. So anyway, so yeah, that's what happened there. That was really good. But
We thought it was abnormal considering it was a 4-second stop and everybody else was doing it in the click of a finger. Yes, but
it was abnormal.
we didn't get a chance to clarify it from you last night, but I was only just thinking about it whilst you were summing up Formula V for me, and I thought we better clear that up while we've got the chance. Speaking of clearing things up, it was an interesting one because it was the perfect incident to illustrate the point to everybody at home, your incident with Alex Barrelon, that is the type of racing we expect at the Red Bull Ring. And when we saw the onboard shot there a few moments ago, it did look as though, well, you had no room to move on the left-hand side. So if the door was being closed, that might be to your advantage in the grand scheme of things. Whatever the case may be, if they do find that you're at fault in any way, shape or form, it's a 5, 10, 15-second penalty. Who cares? Because you still get third. But it would be nice to keep second and get another box ticked on Ben Snell and keep yourself firmly in championship contention, mate, because I'm happy to report that you're also the championship leader here as things stand after that night of racing, because Alavoine, of course, had that spin earlier in the piece, only came home in 7th. So Chapo, 286 plays, Alavoine, 267, Ben Snell, 258. 5 points clear of Bondi, 253, 243 for Willie Blair, make up the top 5. You can have a look at the rest of it when Matt Schmidtke's got it up on the screen for you there, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, everything's looking very nice for you at the moment, Chapo. Could you do the elusive double this season?
We'll start with a single. I'd obviously love to do the double, and you know, if we keep operating as we are, then there's a half decent chance to do that. But you know, who knows? It's a long season ahead. There's a myriad of ways that I can cock it up in between.
True.
And
have done before, yes.
and have done before. Go travelling. Trip to Thailand at some point. I'm not sure what that overlap looks like. So we will see, but fingers crossed.
Indeed. So well done here, because that must have been nice to be able to take advantage of a small slip from Benny on the last lap and grab that second position with open arms. It is a 7-point swing in your favour. If you get that move, it's 7 points. If you don't, you're only scoring 89 for the night, and it's the difference between second and third on points. Jordan Malcolm, by the way, having started the championship tonight, 2 rounds after everybody else, has gone up 7 spots into 15th with that 102 points. And that is the unfortunate reality for everybody at home of the state of play at the moment. There is a lack of depth in this field. We know that Jordan Malcolm is not necessarily a championship contender because he's already got another drop round coming his way, but he's going to be there in the top 10 by the end of the season if he keeps putting on in performances like that. And there was just no stopping him tonight. He was formidable.
Yeah, he was really good. If I had a few more laps, I reckon there was a chance. My pace was brilliant, and it was really when I had free air, I could reel him in up air, but just that early situation meant that I had to, you know, get through those guys, you know, have to, you know, scuffle the barrel on, which wasted a lot of time. You know, they got stuck with Bun Colwell and decided to do that early pit. And once again, the pace was pretty good after that. I think I would have had a decent chance, but, you know, here and there, going through the field, you obviously, have a few people to overtake, and, you know, it takes up a bit of time. So, you know, towards the end, I think, you know, Jordan came out 4.4 seconds ahead and reeled it into about 3. So the chance was there, but yeah, that early error sort of and the fighting early, unfortunately meant that, you know, we couldn't challenge at the top. But yeah, he did a great job. Like, it was, you know, that's also the benefit of chucking it on pole as well, and not making any errors. So no, credit to him. You know, we know on his day when he's locked in, he's unstoppable. He's so fast, and, you know, this is probably starting to suit his driving style a bit more, given, you know, how good he is in a GT4, right? These are much more like a GT4 than they used to be with all the TC and that sort of thing involved. So, yeah, maybe the time in the Cayman is coming in handy for him.
Well, to wrap it up for me very, very quickly, because we've got Paul Wilson and also Kurt Nommensen standing. Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it? Just breaking in, boys, before I go back to Chapo. Hawthorn have got out of jail with a draw. 15-3-93, played 13-15-93. If there was a, way of determining a winner based on draws, it'd go to Collingwood with more goals. But yes, 15-3-93, played 13-15-93. A free kick with 10 seconds of regulation, slotted from 35 metres out right in front to draw the game for Hawthorn. Wowee, what a Thursday night at the G. So 5 points in the Women's State of Origin and a draw in the AFL. Can't ask for much more than that. Chapo, let's wrap it up with you. Nürburgring Nordschleife next week. Thoughts on that before I let you go?
Haven't done any laps. Not sure if I'm going to do a Nerve 24. If I do, I probably won't be overly competitive, but I've said, I'll jump in a car if someone wants me to jump in the Porsche, just so I can get a few laps or that sort of thing. And, I'm going to do that over GT3 and that sort of stuff at the moment, given, that's what I want to probably get my head around. So yeah, it'll be very dependent as to whether I get any laps in. I think, we'll see. I mean, I've got the hang of the car now, so if you find comfort around the circuit, which you probably will more so than I ever did in the GT3, then there's a chance you do okay. But we might find some specialists as well, and if you find a specialist, they're probably going to be 8 seconds faster or something, right, around that track. So we'll see how it pans out. These cars also, though, do draft really well, so if you can stay anywhere near the slipstream, there'll probably be a really good battle towards the end. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we hope it plays out well, given it's 1.5 times points, being an enduro round. But yeah, we'll see.
Indeed, we're looking forward to it immensely. Next Thursday night, we get our enduro out of the road nice and early in the season. Then we go sprint racing at Donington Park, 40 minutes at Spa, sprint racing at Zandvoort, 40 minutes in Adelaide, sprint racing in St Petersburg, super sprint at Sandown. It's going to be a rapid fire run towards the end of the campaign. Turn around twice, blink once, and we'll be at Sandown crowning a Porsche Cup champion. It could be Sam Chapman, based on the early play of what we've seen so far this season and the fact that he is the leader at the end of the third round in both Formula V and the Porsche Cup. Nicely done, my friend. Anyone you want to thank before I let you go?
Oh, thanks, mate, for putting it on. Obviously, all the drivers. Shout out Union Esports and Fury that's on the car. All you guys for keeping it going. Obviously, just shout out just everyone who keeps the club going and that sort of thing as well. I find it brilliant that this is all still ticking along so long later and in just about the same form. That's credit to everyone involved.
And your advice with regards to what you made of the pit stop regulations will be clipped and sent to said committee at a later point in time. So well done. I'm sure they're well aware of your thoughts already, Chapo, based on 6-7 years of experience. But it doesn't necessarily hurt to remind them every now and then.
Yeah, you gotta keep the pressure on, keep the whinging up. Make sure we remember the great days before we manipulated the racecraft. But that's all right. We'll push on.
And I don't say the numbers 6 and 7 to sound like one of those hippie wanky youth people at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But I do, because we've been doing the caper for 6 years and we are now into our 7th. Just to clarify the use of those two numbers so close together. I feel as though you have to justify it these days because everyone thinks you're a hippie otherwise. Chapo, thank you.
There's no chance of anyone thinking you're a hippie, I reckon, Zach, but yeah, no
Thank
worries.
Christ.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. See you next week.
Gotcha.
All right, so with that in mind, we can bring you the results from the open split now, and I thank Paul Wilson and Kurt Nommensen for hanging back to have a chat with us about this. And the reason why we wanted to have a chat with these two is because Paul Wilson was your winner tonight, ladies and gentlemen, from David Baz and Adam Lavis. And then I've got to have a look down here. Kurt Normanson's come home in ninth, so a top 10 finish for you as well, mate. Very nicely done. We'll get to you in a moment. Paul Wilson back in victory lane, back in the Porsche Open split. The world makes sense again, right?
Giddy up, mate. That was bloody awesome. I think that is, in my 5 years of racing GSRC, the first time I've actually crossed the line with all comers coming first. So very happy days, mate. It was cool.
And you guys went one lap less than we did, 26 compared to our 27. But 0.4 the winning margin in the end there, ahead of David Baz. And Adam another 2.5 seconds back. He held off very nicely to the tune of a second. Nathan Harvey in the end. And then Dane Snadden rounded out the top 5. Close running, close racing as per usual. It is a great circuit for just door-to-door racing, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, it's quality, not quantity in the open split. Don't worry about that. It was awesome. It all fell my way. The boys, there was a number of dudes who were a bit quicker than me tonight, and they were slowly creeping away from me. I was sitting about 6th or 5th, and there was a few in front, just sort of second half, 2 seconds in front of me. But then they started blowing with each other and slowly came back. And at 3/4 of the way through the race, so pace really started to come to me, and I pitted as late as I possibly could, and came out right next to Dave Baz, who was on fire. He had the most pace as far as what I was seeing anyway. I can't remember who was right up front. It might have been Jordan Dakin, I think, but anyway. And Ed Wade got a flying start. He was on fire early, but yeah, I was side by side with Dave coming out of the pits, and he had a bit of bad luck with a tail ender at one stage, and I didn't want to take him there, and I didn't really get the chance to anyway. But a couple of corners later, he slightly missed it, and I got a shot at it. So, and for quite surprisingly, didn't choke out in the last few laps either. So happy days.
And this is the thing, mate. It's been a challenging start of the season for everybody. Let's make no qualms about it. How have you found getting your head around the 992.2? Because everyone's got an opinion on it.
Well, I put no effort in last season because I just bloody showed up and went on Thursday night and jumped in and had a spin. I was still basking in my glory and my victory at the end of last year. So I'll just fluff around for a season and try and get my head around it. And it turns out not practicing gives you exactly what you'd expect, and I got lots of rubbish results. I put in a little bit of practice, couple of times in the first few rounds, and what do you know? It's paying off. So practice makes perfect. Look, I like the car. There's overall I like it probably more than the previous car. There's certain aspects of the old car I do miss, like I miss the ability of the lockup. No, it's a shame you can't stuff up and lock up. That was one element of skill I did really appreciate out of the old car. But overall, I think it's a better car all up. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I ain't going nowhere. Porsche Cup for me on a Thursday night with the GSRC is the place to be.
Indeed, it is. Are you going to go and have a dabble in anything else, Paul, or are you happy to be committed to the Porsches?
I'm sticking with the Porsche, mate. I haven't got enough
good
time. It's, I mean, when I say practice, I get in for 10, 20 minutes in a bloody AI race and start at the back and try and knock as many dudes off the track as I can on my way through. But yeah, life gets in the road. So. I get in what I can, and one night a week gives you something to look forward to. And I'm spewing we haven't got a coverage of the open split tonight because I can't show it off and brag about it all week with the boys at work. So
well, that's true. That's true. I'm not actually sure. Let me just have a look here, Paul, just to give everybody at home a bit of an understanding, and Schmitty and I as well. Next week, we are doing the elite split again from the Enduro, but then I think there's a sprint race from your server at Donington Park. Yeah, one race from the Open and one race from the Elite. And then when we get to Spa, you guys are front and centre of the attention of the broadcast. And then again, we split the broadcast with the Open split into the Elite split from Zandvoort, and then the Elite split for Adelaide, Again, a split when we get to St. Petersburg. And then we're going to do races 1 and 2 from your split at Sandown, and then race 3 from the elite split. So you will get plenty of airtime. Don't worry about that.
All good, mate. You guys do a fantastic job. You guys cover whatever you want. I love your work. I'm going to, before I bugger off, I just want to say,
Yes, mate.
Adam, you can make it absolutely hose down tomorrow, next week at the Nürburgring. That was one of the most fun I've ever had in the sim last season, when it was actually like driving through a lake, basically. It was sick, so bring it on. Yeah, make it 4.
He will be listening at the moment. Don't worry. Don't give him ideas. He'll run with it too. Although that being said, he and everybody else had to actually suffer through that. I think, did you go and give that a crack as well, Schmitty? Were you out there with that when we went to the Nürburgring and it just absolutely tipped down in every shape and way and form?
Yep, I was there.
I thought it was brilliant. It was great fun. Actually, I was really surprised tonight. Adam was about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds behind me, and 99 times out of 100, he nails me through the pit stops. But it's amazingly, I've sort of held my own in the pit stops with him tonight. So happy days there too.
You've already pissed Sean Bonici off as well. He's already objecting to it. No rain, he's saying. I love it. I'm very... No. In saying that, though, mate, it was that wet, I felt like I needed to get an umbrella in the commentary box, and I'm nowhere near the bloody server. It was horrendous.
Might have come in handy, yeah.
Oh, 100%. You were on the phone to Jess Fox. In saying all of that, well done to you, mate. 7th, 3rd, 6th and 1st, the 4 finishing positions so far. And I'm looking at the points at the moment. Adam's tinkering with them right now. Woodsy was 6th tonight. It looks as though he's going to hold sway, but I'll update it all once Adam's finished tinkering with it. And looks like you're going to be there somewhat 4th position, I think. Sorry, no, 3rd position on the back of all of that. Provisionally, what I'm looking at on screen here tells me 289 for Paul Wood, 276 for Adam Lavis, and 272 for you. So you're right there when the whip's cracking.
We're in the mix, mate. We're in
Absolutely.
the mix. It's all good.
And you always are in the open split.
Yeah, not last season. I was rubbish last season, but this one's going all right so far. It's early days, but we'll keep plodding along. There's some Woods. He's had awesome speed this year. You got Adam in there as well. It's he's one speedy unit out there. There's plenty. Dave Baz, Nathan Harvey. There's plenty of dudes with plenty of speed in there. So they're plenty faster than me. I'll have to be lucky to get another win. But you never know your luck, mate. We'll give it a shot.
Indeed. Great to catch up with you, mate. Thanks for stopping on by, and appreciate you sticking around. Obviously, it is a long wait in here sometimes whilst we rip through all the other drivers that are lining up for a chat. So we appreciate your patience there, and we look forward to having more chats with you as the season goes on, and we look forward to seeing you on the screen on the nights that I've just mentioned as well.
Thanks, mate. Cheers to the right, boys. Cheers to all the GSRC team and members. Good on your crew. Let's keep racing. See you.
Indeed, there he is, Paul Wilson. Very nicely done, mate. I agree with what Chapo and Paul have already said. The fact that this thing is humming along as nicely as it ever was back in the 2 COVID world-affected years, the SH1T shows that they were when life was anything but normal, and it's still humming along nicely. And we've been out of that rabbit hole for 4.5 years now. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Long may it continue. Kurt Nommensen, to you. Last cab off the rank, but certainly not least. A top 10 result tonight, mate. Very nicely done. Where did it go right? Where did it go wrong? Are you happy with that? Was there room for improvement?
I'm pretty happy with it. Definitely room to improve, though. I was running P3 for a while there and just bounced awkwardly off the turn 1 exit curb and spun to the inside fence. So just a little bit of awkward pogo sticking, but other than that, the car had some really good pace. If I didn't have that spin, I probably would have been racing Paul and Dave for the win come the end of it.
Interesting. And it's frustrating when it's the little 1 or 2 percenters and you can identify them instantly, and you know that's the difference between a top half of the top 10 and a bottom half of the top 10 result, right?
Yeah, that's it. It probably would have been just before I sort of pit that I had the accident too, so it was a little bit frustrating, but not the end of the world.
not the end of the world at all. But the Red Bull Ring, great racetrack. Interesting though, and I haven't asked any of the other boys about this, so I'm going to ask you. But normally we look at this circuit, we think, yeah, beauty, we're going sprint racing. Not tonight, but it works because we still got a good product.
Yeah, I think the track works for the sort of longer races. It's not too bad for that. It's not a long lap, so if you do pit, you don't lose a whole lot of time as well. It's a pretty quick pit lane, so all in all, it works for both sprint and long races, and I'm pretty happy with the way it goes around here.
What else is on Kurt Normanson's racing itinerary between now and this time next week, mate?
It'll probably be just doing the Nürburgring 24, and then I'll be back here Thursday night. I'm just taking a bit of a break from the supercars. I've just got a little bit burnt out, so do some peak up racing and focus on that for a little bit, and then go back and see if I can pick up some pace in the supercar.
Don't blame you. A holiday is good every now and then, and me more than most. I can acknowledge that I think I burnt out last year just from life. And it's been nice to just take things a little bit easier, a little bit slower, a little bit steadier, recharge the batteries on the go rather than just constantly going at 110 mile an hour. Let's talk about a couple of other things while I've still got you. Are you beginning to like the car more as you become more familiar with it?
Yeah, I've definitely been starting to enjoy the car more and more the more I'm driving it. So it's a nice car to drive, and once you can sort of get around the little nuances with the pogo and just the way it sort of bounces off curbs and that, it's not a bad car to drive.
No, not at all. I guess the other point as well, you look at the rest of the calendar there, mate. Nords, we know. Donington for sprint racing is going to be an interesting ingredient added into the mix here. There'll be some spice associated with that because, again, it's a fast-flowing sort of circuit, but it's British, so it's tight, it's narrow as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race, I reckon, at Donington. Probably be a few cars ending up in the gravel traps here and there. These cars do like to bounce off each other pretty aggressively when you make contact, so we'll just have to see what happens with that one. But being at Donington, being a tight track, you don't want to spin in the middle of the track, you're probably going to get hit.
Oh, and by the way, if you feel the need to slow things down a little bit further, always feel free to come and race in the V's with us. It looked like you were enjoying watching that from the comments section.
Yeah, I don't mind watching. I'm just spending the time practicing in the Porsche Cup rather than racing the V. But tonight I had top 6 quali pace and race pace for a podium, so if I can keep that up, I should be there or thereabouts come the end of the season.
All right, very nicely done. But the other interesting thing in all of this is when we look at because obviously the points continue to be updated at the moment by Adam Lavis here, 158 points. So at least things have been on an upward trajectory for you, mate. 9th, 4th, 9th, the last 3 results, making up for that DNF in Mexico in round 1.
Yeah, and that's it. And I had a little bit of a look at the work roster, and I'm only going to miss 1 more round, so I can actually make an assault this year, this season, unlike last season where I had to miss about 3 or 4 rounds and couldn't really be there at the end of the season.
You just need to ensure that, knowing you've got a drop round already burnt and 1 still to come, you just need to make sure that you make the most of those other 8 opportunities, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. It's just making sure that I don't crash out and put it in some fences and just keep being consistent. These top 10 results, it's all going to come down to it at the end. If the other boys have a bit of a rough one, that's where I'll make up all that ground.
And when we look at the schedule, Nürburgring, plenty of fences. Spa, yeah, there's a couple there too. Adelaide, plenty. St. Petersburg, plenty. Yeah, it is a difficult schedule. It's a challenging schedule, but one thing we've come to know about this club and the drivers within it is they all love a challenge. So, I mean, they wouldn't be here if it was always, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? If it was always just the same, wash, rinse, repeat, if there was no challenge attached to it. The new cars are a challenge. the new circuits that are joining the server are a challenge. And of course, the schedules we've got for the supercars and the Porsches this year offer up quite the degree of difficulty, considering that there's a fair bit of street racing and also notorious road course racing in all of those. So yeah, everybody's here for the same reason and enjoying the test that they're putting themselves through the paces of. Kurt, enjoy work. Good luck with everything else that's coming up in the next week. We look forward to seeing you on track next Thursday night, buddy. Thanks for hanging around.
No worries. Thanks, Zach.
Final thoughts from Matt Schmidtke now. Good to have you in the booth for the full night. I mean, Andrew Neil's back next week. You'll do the baton change there with him, and we look forward to that. And we hope Neil is having fun on his work trip. But not a bad night out. Enough to keep it juicy-ish in the Porsches. A little bit processional in parts, but the size of the field maybe contributed to that. And Formula V just always delivers. It doesn't matter what circuit, what circumstances, whether it's a clean race, whether it's incident filled, whatever. That is must watch.
Yep, it certainly is. A lot of very wild racing in the V's tonight. Porsche Cup makes it a little bit more processional. Some good racing there though still, and we've got a bit of footage from the open race here as well, which looked like it would have been a good race if we got to see it as well.
Correct. That's yes. I only just realised that that's what you're rolling through with at the moment. I was so focused on the interviews and the timesheets and the points tables and everything else that I didn't even think of that. So very good to see such a great turnout for the open split yet again. That is where the numbers are at the moment, folks. They had, I'm just having a look at it down through the order here, 29 start on the grid tonight. So massive numbers in that series. Again, that's over 50 across the two. That's almost 50 across the two splits. Just don't watch me put it in the fence before broadcast ends. Thanks, says Kurt from the comments section while still being in the booth. You could have just said that.
I didn't want to interrupt you, Zach.
Oh. Just for that, we probably will stick with this long enough. You know how long my wrap-ups are, Kurt. We probably will see it, unluckily for you. However, in saying all of that, there's an interesting discussion to be had now because we're in that little bit of a lull. We had more numbers than we could throw a stick at in the last season of Porsche Cup racing across the three servers. Then we've had this drop-off. We're almost back in that territory now, Matt Schmidtke, where the committee could, along with Chapo's recommendation of abolishing pit stops, they could also have that discussion about whether or not we go back to an all-in Porsche server. Yes, I know that brings with it, like the supercars, its potential for interclass wrecks and compromises and implications, but at the same time, it would give Paul Wilson and Kurt Nommensen a bit more airtime, and their other constituents as well.
Yes, after round one, it certainly was talked about, but round two, he pulled in, it was close to 60, I think 50 or 60, I think it was closer to 50 actually, which is, like you said, right around the cut-off. If it drops maybe 10 or so cars, we'll definitely look at combining them, but the last week and this week, we've been at about 50, which is kind of, if we get a few more, we don't want to have a single server and people miss out. So currently we'll stick with the two, but it definitely is on the books if the numbers do drop off a little bit more.
Thought that might have been the case. Very nicely done. Thanks to you for your efforts tonight and doing a bit of overtime on a Thursday. We look forward to calling you in action, actually. Not in the Pro-Am split because we are broadcasting Pro and Am next week in GT3. But when you get out there at the Nords next Thursday night, because Formula V's on beforehand, you might have to burn from the stern. You might not get a chance to set a quali time, but I would argue that's not necessarily a bad thing about the Nürburgring.
No, you can definitely make up some places from people making mistakes there, and I can't imagine even if I did go to quali time, you'd not be too much further up the field with the quality of competition in the elite split in the P Cup.
Well, that's exactly right. In fact, there might even be a couple more names to keep an eye on, as you say, in the Elite Cup next week. I know Adam usually goes through about week 3 and works out who needs to be bumped up and who needs to be bumped back. So he's got a bit of work on his hands, there's no doubt about that, but he does it very, very well. All right, let's have a look at what comes your way on hang on. The movement that I'm seeing here might suggest that some of that is already occurring. So just hang tight, folks, because I'll go through the wrap-up and then I'll come back and have a look. I think we're going to see a bit of moving and shaking of that Porsche totem pole before too long. Bad luck for Alex Barrelon. Add that to as number 987 as to reasons why you've been ejected mid-race from a server. The dog pulling the internet lead out, that's a clever dog, but a bad dog at the same time. Fair dinkum. That'll do me. I couldn't quite comprehend that when the comment came through from Cooper Friend. That's what had transpired there to add insult to injury to Barrelon's night. He'll hopefully bounce back next week. That was his first start of the season. He didn't have any drop round leverage at his disposal, and now he's chasing the proverbial uphill for the rest of the campaign. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. If you want to buy some merch, do it via the merch store, merch.tgsrci.com or gsrcmerch.myshopify.com. Same link, essentially, whether you type in address A or B, takes you to the same place, ladies and gentlemen. Grab yourself a singlet, a jumper, a shirt, a bucket hat, a bottle opener, or a stubby cooler, whatever the case may be. Plenty of great range at your disposal in the merch store. And if you want to get involved and be a part of everything that we do here on these platforms, either as a sponsor or as a broadcaster, or we're always looking for an extra hand or two on deck here from a broadcast standpoint with the commentary and the production and the editing and the directing. Race.tgsrci.com is where you go to contact us. And if you want to get involved as a member and get out there in the thick of it and be part of the who, what, when, where, why and how of the GSRC and go racing with these other lunatics, race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the relevant information and up-to-date information with regards to how to sign up and what we're doing, where and when and why. So the whole calendar, what servers, what championships are on offer, all that sort of information is right there. Now, I want to direct your attention to a couple of things here. Monday afternoon, by the way, 4:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 on the West Coast. I mentioned this earlier in the week. Dennis Cometti's State Memorial Service is taking place at Optus Stadium in Perth. You'll see it on 7 and 7+. You'll see it on 9 and 9 now. It's on the telly, terrestrially, in the West, and it's on the streaming apps everywhere else. I think that'll do us. Just repeating, Collingwood and Hawthorn have played out a 93-point draw tonight, 15-3. That's an extraordinarily accurate run from Collingwood. 15-3-93, played 13-15-93. So same numbers, but very different outcomes in all of that. No odd. Actually, how often will you see that in your lifetime? No odd numbers, no even numbers rather, in AFL scoreline. 15-13 and 15-3 and 13-15 and 93. You couldn't do it again if you tried. But a draw has been played out. It's the first one of the season. Collingwood and Hawthorn levelling it up with a kick after the siren. Now, Women's State of Origin, New South Wales 11 points to 6 over Queensland, 1 up. Next game is, of course, May 14 rather, and that will be from Suncorp Stadium on the eve of Magic Round for the NRL. As far as the rest of the sport is concerned, Pakistan Super League coming towards its conclusion. So no games there tonight in that competition, but tomorrow, or at the stroke of midnight, so that's 2 a.m. in New Zealand, 10 o'clock tonight on the West Coast, midnight everywhere else. We've got the Gujarat Titans and also the Royal Challengers Bangalore in the Indian Premier League to look forward to. So some great sport of all sorts coming up. And I might also just remind everybody, after wrapping up what we've got to wrap up tonight and also getting to that late breaking news regarding the Porsches, I might also just give everybody a heads up with regards to what else is coming up this weekend. But before that, let's remind you of what's coming your way On the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube, there it is for you tomorrow night. Now, no guaranteed broadcast for this, so it will be a nice little surprise cameo if we do pop up on your telly tomorrow night via YouTube or in your Facebook newsfeed. Disruptive Labs, Gentlemen's Endurance Championship, Round 3, the Daytona International Speedway, 75 minutes of the journey, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. If we are on air, it'll be 8:25 Eastern Standard Time. Saturday night, 8 o'clock, Mountain Men, 32 laps, Mount Panorama. Car of choice will be determined by a wheel spin tomorrow night, and competitors will be advised accordingly after that. But yes, same procedure, same scenario as usual, but different car each and every week here for Mountain Men. Week 4 competition gets underway. It's a public holiday in Northern Australia, in the Northern Territory, and also here in Queensland, but it's a normal business day everywhere else. Week 4 gets underway Monday night, May 4, and that's the first and only time I'm going to actually say that, because I'll get all the Star Wars, Star Trek people up me for the rent if I say anything else. At Miami International Autodrome, first up for Waste Options Formula 3, 2 sprint races there, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Then we go to Brands Hatch for the first of the sprint rounds in GT3, and we're bringing you the AM Split Race 1, the Pro Split Race 2. That is 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is Monday Night Motorsport for you, and we are looking forward to that immensely. Great Wins and Slicks Championship shaping up there at the moment. The battle between Aidan Cale and also his teammate Braden Sagasta, and also you got Adam Funslow and Guy Leach there as well. It's a good little contest, and GT3 doesn't disappoint either in any season that we bring it to you. Tuesday night, the committee's choice. Now, this will be Irwindale Speedway, the figure 8 with the jump for the FIA cross car. That is heat racing from, well, the racing will be at a later time, but the server itself for practice and qualifying opens up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wednesday night, Dan Yeaman and or Adam Lavis, one of the two. And same goes for Monday night. Will be here with me as we go racing on the 6th of May. That will be from the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, the COTA West configuration, the NASCAR version thereof. 40 minutes the journey for both races. It is round 4 of the merch.tgsrci.com Toyota 86 Challenge, and then on to the Trophy AI Supercar Series. COTA, 40 minutes. Wednesday night, wash, rinse, repeat, same format, different cars for the entree and the main course. Then Thursday night, have a look at that, put it in your diary. Compulsory viewing for Formula V from the MIA Loop of the Miami International Autodrome, then on to the Nürburgring for the notorious Nordschleife to play host to the 60-minute race that awaits us for round 4 of the Porsche Cup campaign, and we are looking forward to that immensely. Now, some late breaking news here and now for you, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Adam Lavis. The Elite Split has some new contenders. Graduating up out of the Open Split at this particular point in time. There they are on your screen there, the names with the grey background. Cameron Dakin, Dane Snadden, Nathan Harvey, Joel Jansens, Jordan Dakin, and Paul Wood, if you don't mind. Bad luck, Woodsy. Now, what that means is the championship has changed significantly there in the Open Cup, because Jaden Draper, BF Young have also gone up, so there has been a fair bit of shuffling going on by Adam Lavis tonight. So therefore the championship picture means that Adam Lavis leads 280, plays Paul Wilson 272, Sean Benici 247, David Baz 246, and Joel and Hansen 216, 215 for Alan McDonald. So there you have it, 1 point still between 5th and 6th, 25 points second and third, but 8 points now the margin first to second. It means that Adam Lavis doesn't have his teammate to contend with now in that split. And Woodsy's back in the Elite Split and will be back on broadcast next week, so he'll be happy with that. Although he'll also be slightly disappointed, I would imagine, Matt Schmidtke, because the championship hopes and aspirations and dreams may well be dashed.
Yeah, I have a feeling he might be more than slightly disappointed, but we'll find out tomorrow night. And we'll have a chat for the Gentlemen's Endurance Championship.
Indeed. As he's been wedged in here into the Elite Split, he is showing 10th 207. Plays Sam Chapman's 286. Margin of 79 at the moment. So what was your leader of the open split is now 10th in the elite split. So that's a good little launch pad for Woodsy to bounce off from next week when we get to the Nordschleife. Coming up this weekend, there's plenty to look forward to. Formula One back, Miami, the sprint on Sunday morning. Qualifying follows that. Monday morning, of course, racing action for you. That gets underway 6 a.m. Running concurrently will be the NASCAR round from Texas. The World Superbike Championships in Hungary this weekend. The Australian Superbike Championships in South Australia at Shell V Power Motorsport Park. Have fun if you're going out for that. The EPL continues. The A-League finals get underway. The women's finals continue. The NRL, the AFL. Formula E from Germany. That's a double header Saturday and Sunday night, 11 p.m. Eastern on Stan Sport. And also, of course, the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship from Laguna Seca on Monday morning from 6 a.m. And there is also a Sunday night AFL match between Gold Coast and GWS, which Sydney and Brisbane viewers will see on 7 Mates. Have I missed anything? Oh, Super Rugby, of course, continuing as well. New South Wales and the Western Force, the Brumbies, and also the Reds on the telly. Queensland versus the ACT on 9gem on Saturday night from 7 p.m. as well. And there's some horse racing too. So there's a big weekend of sport coming up. Hope you enjoyed our coverage of Thursday Night Motorsport again here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. And we hope that you'll stay with us. Chapo leads both Formula V and the Porsche Elite Split at the end of the first 3 rounds of the season. It's been compelling viewing throughout the first 3 of Term 2, but there are still 7 to come. But we're done as far as April, and the 4th month and the first third of 2026 are concerned. It's flashed by in the blink of an eye. We're enjoying it. We hope you are as well. We hope you'll stay with us as this fascinating second term of competition continues. On behalf of Matt Schmidtke, the entire broadcast, commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caban. Go out and have yourself a great weekend, everybody, especially those of you that are enjoying a long weekend. Although it's a Clayton's long weekend because there's no sport attached to it on Monday. But that's another story. We'll have that debate on Monday night. We look forward to your company then. Until then, have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.